Chapter 1375. Mo Qingqing was initially feeling happy because the pill was completed. Her beautiful eyes were filled with a smile, but when she heard the voices of the crowd, her smile instantly vanished as her pale countenance turned extremely unsightly to behold. Qin Wentian also frowned. Although it was necessary for such an outstanding woman like Qingqing to have suitors, confessing in front of him in front of so many people and even wanting Qingqing to give him a pill. This was simply too arrogant and disrespectful to Qingqing. In addition, the elders of this person as well as the pill lords of the Immortal Mountains and ancient peaks also came to join in the fun. This made him very unhappy. This pill is only concocted for my husband. Mo Qingqing icily spoke. Upon hearing her voice and seeing the paleness of her beautiful countenance, Mo still couldn't let her go. Such a Mo Qingqing would truly cause people's hearts to tremble. Junior sister Qingqing, why don't you give me a chance? I don't mind your past. In fact, I will definitely be more outstanding compared to your husband. Mo spoke. You are simply shameless. Mo Qingqing coldly spoke. She already made things so clear, yet this Mo still dared to say such overboard words in front of Qin Wentian. No matter how good her temper was, she still couldn't help but to speak. Mo, the elder of the Qiu clan, frowned as he lectured, you even want a married woman? Don't you find it dirty? Rumble. Qin Wentian's body trembled as anger burned in his heart. He didn't expect that Mo's elder would actually say such humiliating words. He stood up and coldly stared at Mo, apologize. Mo's elder turned his gaze to Qin Wentian. Upon sensing the aura radiating from Qin Wentian, he coldly laughed, an initial stage immortal king? Not bad, but who the hell do you think you are? You want me to apologize? He came from a great city governed by the Paragon Sword sect and was the king of a city. Even in the unaging Immortal Mountains, he would be treated as an esteemed guest. Why would he care about a mere initial stage immortal king who didn't even have a good seat? She is my wife. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, declaring his dominance. So what? That expert mocked. Before this, when he saw how beautiful Mo Qingqing was, in addition to the fact that Mo had publicly confessed his love to Mo, he naturally wanted to help Mo. But who would have thought that Mo would be humiliated instead, scolded for being shameless? How could he not be enraged? Hence, he chose to mock Mo Qingqing. Brother Qiu, don't be impatient. The main peak's pill lord spoke. After that, he turned to Qin Wentian, Sir, please take a seat. This place is the pill banquet of my unaging Immortal Mountains, please abide by the rules. If there's anything, you guys can settle it after the banquet ends. Qin Wentian came here in a low-profile manner, he didn't want to reveal his identity. But when he saw Mo Qingqing being humiliated, he couldn't help but stand out in anger. At this moment, his eyes gleamed with coldness as he stared at Mo's elder. His gaze was like he was looking at a dead man. All right. Qin Wentian glanced at him coldly and sat down. Since this was the case, he would wait until the end of the elixir banquet before settling the score. Qingqing, I won't spare him. Qin Wentian transmitted his voice to Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing turned her head and smiled sweetly at Qin Wentian. As long as she saw Qin Wentian, what did everything before count for? He was by her side. Not far away, a look of unhappiness flashed in Yi Ro's eyes. She didn't expect that Mo Qingqing's husband was actually an immortal king character. Even if he was an initial stage immortal king, he was still an immortal king expert and was much more powerful compared to her fiancé. When she thought of this, she couldn't help but feel even more jealous of Mo Qingqing. Someone like her senior brother Mo could disregard her past and publicly confess his love to her. Yet, she actually turned the tables and insulted him instead. She was simply shameless. If her senior brother Mo treated her like this, she could directly dump her fiancé. For those who haven't completed their concoction, continue concocting. Don't be distracted. The main peak's pill lord spoke, his tone cold. He felt that he had lost some face. He didn't know the situation, hence he spoke out to help his beloved disciple Chiao Mo. Who would have thought that Mo Qingqing would reject him so bluntly and even ignored his words, insulting his disciple for being shameless. Seems like his junior apprentice sister spoiled her too much and spoiled her too much. Chiao Mo stared in the direction of Qin Wentian with a cold look in his eyes. Today, he had already lowered his face to Wu Mo Qingqing. Because of her talent and beauty, he could even disregard her past. However, he was still smacked in the face in front of everyone. Everyone had their own thoughts. The pill banquet continued and the people from the major powers in the surroundings watched with interest. This Chiao Mo was an extremely talented genius, yet he was actually smitten by a woman. If one were to talk about fault, it was clearly Chiao Mo's rudeness first. That beautiful maiden already had a husband and her husband was also present at the banquet. She had already made things clear yet he still continued. This was akin to smacking Qin Wentian's face in public, it was extremely disrespectful. No wonder that beautiful maiden was angered. The disciples concocted their immortal pills one after another. Finally, out of the 130 participants, other than a few who failed 3 times, the majority of them managed to concoct their own immortal pills. However, the grade of the pills varied. The eyes of the main peak's pill lord flashed. He glanced at the pill lords of the other peaks and asked, "Let's decide on the 7th-ranked immortal pills concocted by the immortal kings first. What do you all think of the rankings?" Shui Qingyang's Dragon Emperor Immortal Pill is a mid-tier 7th-ranked pill. The quality is very high and after consuming it, one's combat prowess would increase, causing their immortal energy to become even more tyrannical. Within a short period of time, it can raise the strength of stellar martial cultivators by a certain amount. Someone spoke. The main peak's pill lord smiled and nodded. This was naturally what he was thinking as well. What about the others? What do you all think? The main peak's pill lord spoke. It seemed like the number 1 immortal king had already been decided. Fong Yan's Vajra pill should be ranked 2nd. This pill is extremely rare and after consuming it, it can allow an immortal king's physique to transform into an indestructible Vajra body for a short period of time. Another person expressed his opinion. The others didn't have any objections and all of them nodded. As the pill lords of the unaging immortal mountains, their judgment was naturally very good. Unless they encountered a pill that was extremely similar in quality, it would be very easy to tell which one was better. Chiao Mo's pill should be able to rank 3rd. That's right, Chiao Mo should be ranked 3rd. Only to see that at this moment, Chiao Mo didn't seem excited at all. His expression was extremely calm, as though he was still brooding over what happened earlier. Chiao Mo's elders all had smiles on their faces. As for the 3rd place, they would be able to obtain the rewards of the unaging immortal emperor. In addition, their status in the unaging immortal mountains would be even more stable. To their clan, this was undoubtedly a great help. Seems like they have to nurture Chiao Mo well and do their best to support him in pill concoction, satisfying all of his requests. Next, the top 10 were announced and the pills they concocted were also presented. This caused the hearts of the spectators to be filled with shock. To think that pills actually had such an effect. It was very rare for them to come into contact with powerful immortal pills. Today, their horizons were truly broadened. For the top 10, there were 3 from the main peak. Shui Qingyang and Chiao Mo were among the top 3. This made everyone sigh in admiration, as expected of the main peak of the 9 peaks. Next, it was time for the Immortal Foundation disciples to be evaluated. The main peak's pill lord fell silent. His eyes gleamed with a bright light as though he was contemplating something. After which, he spoke, "For Immortal Foundation level, I think the Calamity Poison pill Jing Xiu concocted should be ranked 1st. If Immortal Foundation experts were to consume this pill, only death would await them. For 6th ranked pills, other than immortal pills, there were poison pills as well. Since this was a pill concoction power, they naturally wouldn't forbid the concoction of poison pills. Such pills could be used to catch opponents off guard during combat. Senior brother, why didn't you ask for everyone's opinion before making your decision? Mo Qingqing's master furrowed her brows. Before this, when the main peak's pill lord was evaluating the immortal kings, he would ask for everyone's opinion because the rankings wouldn't exceed his expectations. But at this moment, he actually named the Immortal Foundation disciple as the top ranker instead of asking for everyone's opinion. This was extremely strange. Why? Junior sister, do you have any objections? The main peak's pill lord asked. Naturally, I have objections. The pill my disciple Mo Qingqing concocted is the blood refinement soul pill, and it's one of the highest quality among 6th ranked high-grade pills. Given her cultivation base, being able to concoct such a rare pill, she should definitely be ranked first. Although the calamity poison pill Jing Xiu concocted isn't bad, the difficulty of concocting it still can't be compared to the blood refinement soul pill. Mo Qingqing's master was somewhat unhappy. What happened earlier was Mo Qingqing's private matter and she didn't wish to interfere. But now, the ranking of the pill concoction banquet was an official matter. Although the blood refinement soul pill is rare, don't you know what use it has? It's completely useless to one's cultivation base. How can it be ranked first? I don't think it can even be ranked within the top 3. The main peak's pill lord continued, Junior sister, you can't protect Mo Qingqing just because she is your beloved disciple. Mo Qingqing's master's countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. She glanced at the other pill lords and asked, everyone, what do you all think? This. Everyone smiled awkwardly, it seemed that it wasn't appropriate for them to say anything more. Purely based on alchemy, the difficulty of concocting the blood refinement soul pill was obviously the highest. In this aspect, Mo Qingqing should be ranked first. But since the main peak's pill lord was adamant, it wouldn't be good for them to interfere. Qin Wentian's countenance was extremely unsightly to behold. Qingqing had coughed out 9 mouthfuls of fresh blood to concoct this pill. But now, her achievements were actually being rejected by someone else. From the conversation between Mo Qingqing's master and the main peak's pill lord, Qin Wentian naturally understood that the main peak's pill lord was trying to shut the mouths of the others, making it hard for them to interfere. Which of the past pill concoction banquets didn't use one's alchemy ability to judge? If we are talking about effects, who can say for sure which pill is more effective? Is Xue Qingyang's Dragon Emperor Immortal pill more effective or Fang Yan's Diamond pill? Mo Qingqing's master argued. The disciples of our unaging immortal mountains don't care about practicality when concocting pills. What's the point? The main peak's pill lord spoke with an unquestionable tone. The number 1 in the Immortal Foundation realm naturally belongs to the Calamity Poison pill. Mo Qingqing at most can only be ranked 4th. Master, I'm fine. Mo Qingqing's countenance was still pale as she smiled at her master. Upon seeing Mo Qingqing's appearance, her master felt extremely unbearable. How could she allow her disciple to suffer such grievances? Qin Wentian felt even more pain in his heart. Qingqing was working so hard in concocting pills, even the main peak's pill lord himself wouldn't dare to do so. If not, in terms of difficulty, Qingqing's blood refinement soul pill should be ranked first, yet he was ranked 4th. Qingqing could accept this, but he couldn't. Forget it. Qin Wentian sighed in his heart. He initially wanted to keep a low profile and not disturb Qingqing's cultivation. But sadly, this unaging immortal mountain wasn't a place for cultivation. Since I want to ascend to the peak of the immortal realms, why should I care about my wife's ability? So what if she doesn't have a cultivation base? If I let her suffer such grievances, what's the point of my cultivation? Qin Wentian silently mused as he stood up. Chapter 1376. As Qin Wentian thought of this, he stepped out and actually walked towards the pill concoction field. The gazes of everyone turned to Qin Wentian, only to see him walking to the side of Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing also stared at Qin Wentian as a sweet smile appeared on her face. No matter how wrong she felt, as long as Qin Wentian was by her side, it was already enough. Qingqing, since this pill was concocted for me, can I consume it now? Qin Wentian gently spoke. Mo Qingqing nodded. She took the pill and passed it to Qin Wentian. Qin Wentian received it and swallowed it. A wave of medicinal fragrance seeped into his body and very swiftly, Qin Wentian felt a strange feeling. In his soul, he could feel a sense of attachment, a strong sense of attachment. This was the feelings Qingqing had for him. Is this pill the love you have for me? Qin Wentian smiled as he asked. Mo Qingqing smiled radiantly. Not only so. At this moment, Mo Qingqing's master spoke. Qin Wentian glanced at her only to hear her slowly speaking, blood refinement, blood love. This pill has no effect on her at all. However, not only does this pill contain her longing for you, it also contains her comprehensions of everything. These comprehensions include cultivation, love. It's just that because your cultivation base is higher than Qingqing's, it might not be of much use to you. Because of its unique effects, this pill is extremely rare. Qin Wentian nodded his head lightly. In his soul, he could sense many things, including the deep feelings of Qingqing. Although the effect isn't obvious, the love she feels is enough to move one's heart. Also, in terms of concoction, this pill is definitely the most difficult to concoct. I still stand by my opinion, Qingqing should be the top ranker in this pill concoction banquet. Mo Qingqing's master resolutely spoke. This was her opinion and she wouldn't change it. Even if the pill lord of the main peak had already made the decision, she still had to protect her disciple. Thank you. Qin Wentian stared at the middle-aged woman as he smiled. Senior has taken care of Qingqing all these years, I have no way to repay you. I can only thank Senior for your kindness. Qingqing is my disciple, there's no need to care about favors. The other party shook his head. Master. Mo Qingqing stared at her master and bowed slightly. She also knew that since Qin Wentian stood out, the fate between them as master and disciple would most probably come to an end here. Given Qin Wentian's temper, there was no way he would let this matter rest so easily. This meant that he would offend many people from the unaging Immortal Mountains, including the Pill Lord of the main peak. In that case, it would be impossible for her to continue cultivating in the unaging Immortal Mountains. In addition, she also learned of the current situation in the eastern regions from Qin Wentian. Now that Qin Wentian had come out, it was impossible to keep her here. In my heart, in the Immortal Foundation realm of this banquet, Qingqing, you are number one. Mo Qingqing's master smiled. Not far away from her, the Pill Lord of the main peak turned ashen. Was this smacking his face? Qin Wentian smiled at Mo Qingqing, since Senior feels that you are number one, and the pill you concoct is also the most difficult, Qingqing, you are the most outstanding. Mo Qingqing smiled sweetly. Her master and Qin Wentian's words of consolation caused her to feel even more gratified. She no longer cared about the opinions of others. As for the grievances she suffered, she no longer cared. Have you guys had enough? A cold voice rang out. Xiao Mo's expression was extremely unsightly to behold. He coldly stared at Qin Wentian. This place is the unaging Immortal Mountains Pill Concoction Banquet. What qualifications do you have to stand here and spout such nonsense? Why are you still not scramming? Junior sister Qingqing, pay attention to the situation here. Yi Ro also spoke in a strange tone, as though reminding Mo Qingqing. Pill Concoction Banquet. Qin Wentian stared at Xiao Mo as he coldly spoke, so you still know that this is the Pill Concoction Banquet. Since you know, what do the words you said to Qingqing earlier count for? Does this have something to do with the Pill Concoction Banquet? This is the matter of the disciples of my unaging immortal mountains. During the pill concoction banquet, whatever I want to say or do, you have no qualifications to interfere. Xiao Mo was somewhat jealous of Qin Wentian. He had long been in love with Qin Wentian, yet Qingqing was so infatuated with this man. In addition, Qin Wentian was as young as him and had the same cultivation base as him. Hence, he was jealous. This place was the unaging immortal mountains, his home ground. Since when did Qin Wentian have the qualifications to speak so much here? Oh. You said those words to my wife in front of me and I have no qualifications to interfere? In that case, the person sitting on the top should be your elder, right? Is he also someone from the unaging immortal mountains? Seems like you have spoken too much. Qin Wentian took a step forward. Although his voice was as calm as ever, his long robes fluttered even though there was no wind. For those who understood Qin Wentian, they all knew that he was already angered. You want to compete with me? The elder of the Qiu clan who was sitting on the top seat mockingly stared at Qin Wentian. Coldness flickered in his eyes as he spoke. What qualifications do you have to compete with me? I naturally won't compete with you. You are such an uncultured old thing. Comparing myself to you is a humiliation to me. Qin Wentian mocked. After that, the eyes of Qiu Mo narrowed as a cold intent gushed forth from him. Master, this man insulted my elder and interrupted the concoction banquet. Master, please allow me to act. Qiu Mo clasped his hands to the Main Peak's Pill Lord. Sure. The Main Peak's Pill Lord nodded, only saying a single word. Clearly, he was standing on Qiu Mo's side. Qiu Mo coldly glanced at Qin Wentian. After that, he turned to Mo Qingqing and spoke, the words I said to you before are still valid. You can still consider it. Maybe, I can spare him. Shameless to the extreme. Mo Qingqing coldly stared at Qiu Mo. It was very rare for her to hate someone so much. But Qiu Mo repeatedly said such words in front of Qin Wentian, causing her to loathe him to the extreme. Fine. Since you put it this way, I have nothing else to say. I can only use my actions to tell you that your judgment is truly very bad. Qiu Mo sighed to Mo Qingqing. Flames blazed around him and in just an instant, an incomparably terrifying heat engulfed this entire space as the might of an immortal king gushed forth. Qingqing, step back first. Qin Wentian spoke gently to Mo Qingqing. Mo Qingqing nodded. The other disciples of the unaging immortal mountains who participated in the pill concoction banquet all retreated. Very swiftly, only Qin Wentian and Qiu Mo remained on the vast concoction field. Although this battlefield was too small for immortal kings, they had a tacit understanding and didn't say anything. All of them felt that even if the battlefield was a little small, it would still be sufficient to end the battle. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Violent flames engulfed everything. In an instant, an incomparably violent fire law domain manifested. The flames of various colors revolved around the pill concoction field, enveloping Qin Wentian. At this instant, the handsome Qiu Mo transformed into a king of flames. He who was bathed in the terrifying flames was like a divinity, able to incinerate everything. Qiu Mo waved his hands as boundless law flames gushed towards Qin Wentian. However, at this moment, Qin Wentian was radiating law energy. The terrifying flames unceasingly gushed into his body, but they were all blocked by a formless barrier of light, unable to invade his body at all. However, at this moment, Qiu Mo moved. He took a step out, directly traversing through space. The concoction field was simply too small for immortal kings. The distance between the two of them only needed a single step. With a single step, Qiu Mo appeared right in front of Qin Wentian. A terrifying blazing palm imprint blasted out towards Qin Wentian. That blazing palm imprint contained a fearsome destructive might, causing sizzling sounds to echo in the air as all the moisture in the air was evaporated. Law energy circulated around Qin Wentian as a divine glow radiated from him. Is he courting death? He actually didn't dodge or retaliate. Everyone stared at Qin Wentian. In the time it takes for sparks to fly off a flint, Chiu Mo's palm imprint directly slammed into Qin Wentian's body. A thunderous boom rang out, but Qin Wentian wasn't directly incinerated like what everyone had imagined. He still quietly stood there, his body radiating a resplendent light as a fearsome law energy circulated within it. Not good. The elders of Chiu Mo and the main peak's Pill Lord silently mused. After that, they only saw Qin Wentian's palm already lifting up and slamming out with lightning speed, containing an incomparably terrifying suppression energy. Boom! A heavy sound rang out. This palm strike didn't contain any innate techniques and was infused with the purest form of energy. The palm strike slammed into Chiu Mo's face and slammed downwards. With a thud, Chiu Mo was slammed heavily onto the ground, causing the ground to tremble. From this, one could very well imagine how strong the force behind this palm strike was. The hearts of everyone were pounding. Chiu Mo was an immortal king expert. Ever since he started cultivating, he had never suffered such a humiliating defeat before. His attacks couldn't even move his opponent and he was directly slammed onto the ground with a single slap. He coughed out blood as his head trembled and his teeth shattered. He only felt his mind buzzing as his vision turned blank. Boundless humiliation gushed forth, he even forgot to think. Get up. Qin Wentian's cold voice rang out. Chiu Mo crawled up. Bang! Qin Wentian ruthlessly slapped the other side of Chiu Mo's face. After that, a thunderous boom rang out as the ground trembled. Cracks appeared on the ground as both sides of Chiu Mo's face swelled up. These two slaps completely stunned him, causing the people in the surroundings to be stunned as well. Impudent! Chiu Mo's elder regained his senses. A cold intent gushed forth from him, but at this moment, he only saw Qin Wentian grabbing Chiu Mo's neck and lifting him up. A violent killing intent gushed forth, enveloping this entire space as everyone felt a bone-piercing coldness. How dare you say such words to my wife in front of me? In the future, you don't need to speak again. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. After that, his finger pierced towards Chiu Mo's mouth as a terrifying destructive sword qi gushed into it. Chiu Mo howled in pain, but his voice was extremely hoarse and ear-piercing. It was as though he wanted to speak but he couldn't. Everyone felt their hearts trembling as they felt a bone-piercing coldness in their bodies. In front of Qin Wentian, Chiu Mo wanted to woo his wife, Mo Qingqing. He wanted Mo Qingqing to abandon Qin Wentian and be with him. Chiu Mo told Mo Qingqing that he could disregard her past, and he even said that Mo Qingqing's judgment was truly too bad. Everyone almost believed Chiu Mo's words, feeling that Mo Qingqing's love for him wasn't worth it. However, they didn't expect the ending to be so dramatic. When the two of them fought, Chiu Mo was actually so weak, unable to withstand a single strike. From now on, his mouth could no longer speak. Chapter 1377. Numerous figures stood up. The elders of the Chiu clan all radiated killing intent. How dare you! Chiu Mo's master, the Pill Lord of the main peak, also didn't expect Qin Wentian to be so audacious, acting so violently in front of him, causing Chiu Mo to never be able to speak again. Qin Wentian, did he still have him in his eyes? Did he have the unaging immortal mountains in his eyes? Everyone was shocked by Qin Wentian. Not only because of Qin Wentian's strength, but also because of the things he did. It was simply too crazy, simply audacious to the extreme. It's best that you don't move recklessly. Qin Wentian's hand was still gripping Chiu Mo's neck tightly. It was like as long as he willed it, he could take Chiu Mo's life at any moment. Chiu Mo's elder turned ashen as his killing intent surged to the extreme. Do you know what you have done? Chiu Mo's master had an unsightly expression on his face. He still sat there, but his countenance was ashen as he coldly spoke. My wife is also a disciple of the unaging Immortal Mountains. She was humiliated in front of everyone, and since the unaging Immortal Mountains chose to ignore it, I can only act myself. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. His tone was calm as though he had just done something extremely ordinary. How could he endure it when he saw Qingqing being humiliated like this? Since he didn't intend to endure it any longer, he would use the most direct method to make these people who humiliated Qingqing pay the price. Qiu Mo let out muffled sounds as fresh blood flowed unceasingly. His face was ashen, but he seemed to have forgotten the pain he was feeling. His eyes stared fixedly at Qin Wentian, filled with boundless hatred. There's no need to look at me like this. Didn't you ask for this yourself? Qin Wentian glanced at Qiu Mo. The hearts of everyone trembled. Speaking of which, it was true that Qiu Mo was the one who asked for it. It was just that they thought that the one who would be unlucky would be Qin Wentian. They didn't expect that it would be Qiu Mo. Yi Ro simply didn't dare to believe her eyes. Right now, she still hadn't recovered from the shock. Before this, she didn't have Qin Wentian in her eyes at all. For Qingqing, he actually dared to turn Qiu Mo into a mute. This was simply too crazy, simply toppling her imagination. How could he be so daring? This place was the unaging Immortal Mountains. It's just a battle of tongues. There's no need to be so vicious. Only to see Xue Qingyang turning his gaze onto Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke. He was the #1 genius of the main peak of the unaging Immortal Mountains and was respected by many. Qiu Mo was also very respectful to him, and their relationship wasn't bad. Seeing how impudent this man was, he naturally felt extremely unhappy. A battle of words. In front of your face, I told your wife that I want to dump you and follow me from now on. What do you think of this? Qin Wentian coldly stared at Xue Qingyang. Unrelated people, don't interfere in this matter. Xue Qingyang furrowed his brows. Although Qiu Mo had gone overboard, Qin Wentian actually dared to speak to him in such a manner. What if I want to interfere? Xue Qingyang raised his brows and said coldly. Qin Wentian turned his gaze and looked at Xue Qingyang with a cold smile. If you interfere, I will think that you have to bear the burden for him. In that case, I will bear it together. Xue Qingyang's expression turned sharp. He also had his own pride. Given how impudent Qin Wentian was, did he not know what sort of situation he was in now? I'm afraid you won't be able to bear it. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. Oh. Xue Qingyang stared at Qin Wentian before turning to Mo Qingqing. Since you want to say this, let me remind you. Mo Qingqing is also in the unaging Immortal Mountains. Do you think you will be able to leave the mountain alive just because you captured Qiu Mo? Qin Wentian grabbed Qin Wentian with his left hand and stepped out. Law energy gushed forth from him as the destructive aura from the Devil Islands gushed forth. With a single step, he traversed a great distance and directly appeared before Xue Qingyang. Xue Qingyang was also prepared. Flames gushed forth from him as his cultivation base at the initial stage of Immortal Foundation gushed forth without any concealment. Compared to Qiu Mo, his strength was simply too weak. His flames were much stronger as well. A cluster of nirvanic flames bloomed in the air. Xue Qingyang stretched out his palm as the terrifying flames blasted towards Qin Wentian's palm. Qin Wentian's palm shone with a dazzling light. The destructive god's hand contained supreme might. He didn't evade Xue Qingyang's flames and simply grabbed out. The terrifying flames directly pierced into his palm. The might of the nirvanic flames wanted to incinerate his palm, slowly seeping into it. Explode! Xue Qingyang coldly roared. Everyone in the surroundings retreated with great speed. Even the main peak's Pill Lord was alarmed. His silhouette flashed and directly appeared behind Xue Qingyang, releasing a powerful light screen to block the aftershock. At the point where the two of them collided, a wave of destructive flames erupted forth, shooting towards Qin Wentian. However, Qin Wentian's palm imprint abruptly expanded, transforming into a heaven-blotting divine hand, wanting to destroy everything. Bang! An intense sound of collision rang out. The flames were extinguished and forced back into Xue Qingyang's body. The destructive might ravaged his body as the palm imprint bore down on him. Xue Qingyang's countenance drastically changed as terror appeared on his face. At this moment, the main peak's pill lord behind him acted. Qin Wentian's attack didn't land. He brought Qiu Mo and directly retreated, returning to his original position. Xue Qingyang was so shocked that he broke out in cold sweat. The destructive might was still rampaging wildly in his body as his countenance turned as pale as paper. I initially thought that you would be able to handle it. In the end, you still have to rely on your master to act. In the future, it's best to think clearly before doing things. Don't think that you are very powerful and can bear the burden for others. You are not qualified. Qin Wentian mocked. The hearts of the disciples from the unaging Immortal Mountains pounded violently. How can this be possible? He was actually so powerful that even their senior brother Xue Qingyang couldn't even withstand a single strike. Their senior brother Xue Qingyang was the top ranker of this pill banquet. Also, his cultivation base was the highest and he was the strongest. But even he couldn't withstand a single strike. He actually needed the main peak's pill lord to act before he could survive. If not, that strike would have been sufficient to destroy him. Qingyang, are you alright? Xue Qingyang's elders also came to his side, all of them exuding cold auras. How dangerous, the pride of their clan was almost destroyed by a single strike. I'm fine. Xue Qingyang shook his head but his heart had yet to calm down. That strike directly destroyed his pride. His glory of being the top ranker of the pill banquet was also shattered by that strike. Qiu Mo's elder walked towards Qin Wentian as a fearsome aura gushed forth. Release Qiu Mo, do you know what you are doing? The main peak's pill lord stared at Qin Wentian as killing intent flashed in his eyes. Just act directly. If he dares to touch Qiu Mo, we will deal with his wife as well. Xue Qingyang's elder calmly spoke. His Xue clan was a peak power in the Taihua Immortal dynasty. However, in the unaging Immortal Mountains, there was actually someone who almost killed Xue Qingyang. This was unforgivable. Qiu Mo's elder waved his hand as numerous experts stepped out, moving towards Mo Qingcheng, instantly surrounding her. The other disciples all retreated, not wanting to be implicated. Impudent. Mo Qingcheng is a disciple of my unaging Immortal Mountains. What are you all doing? Mo Qingcheng's master smashed the table in front of her and stood up. Junior sister, did you see clearly who is the one being impudent? He is using my disciple's life to threaten me, yet you still want to protect your disciple. The main peak's pill lord's voice was extremely cold. His two most prided disciples, Xue Qingyang and Qiu Mo, were both humiliated and suppressed by Qin Wentian. Today, it was impossible for Qin Wentian to leave the unaging Immortal Mountains alive. What a peak lord of the unaging Immortal Mountains! Qin Wentian laughed uproariously. Before this, Qiu Mo was disrespectful to my wife and this old bastard even directly attacked her. At that time, no one stood out to speak for my wife. But now, all of you are stepping out to bully others. Yes, he is. So what of it? Xue Qingyang's elder coldly spoke, his tone extremely arrogant. One couldn't help but say that as an expert from a peak power in his clan, his tone was truly arrogant. So what of it? Qin Wentian stared at him and smiled. Xue Qingyang said that he wanted to bear the burden together with me. I don't really want his life, but since you said this, it means that you and Qiu Mo will have to bear the burden together. Also, the main peak's pill lord of the unaging Immortal Mountains, right? Qin Wentian laughed. He brought Qiu Mo back. At this moment, Mo Qingqing was surrounded and the other disciples of the unaging Immortal Mountains had already left. Only one person remained standing not far away from Mo Qingqing. This person was none other than Qi Yu from the Battle Saint tribe. Since you guys want to play, I want to see who is the one who can bully others today. Qin Wentian roared in rage. He released Chiu Mo and blasted out a palm strike towards Chiu Mo. In an instant, boundless tyrannical destructive energy gushed into Chiu Mo's body, causing him to be flung through the air. His elder's silhouette flashed and caught hold of Chiu Mo's body. However, he discovered that Chiu Mo's meridians and bones were all destroyed, directly crippling him. Boom! A fearsome killing intent engulfed this entire space. However, Qin Wentian calmly walked to the side of Mo Qingqing and spoke to Qi Yu, "Kill those who are surrounding her." Roger. Qi Yu nodded. In an instant, the heavens and earth trembled as a fearsome aura gushed forth. Qi Yu's body abruptly expanded in size, resembling a giant. A towering battle might radiated from him, unexcelled in the world, shining resplendently like a god of war. Boom! A terrifying law domain erupted forth, enveloping this entire space within. Those who wanted to kill Mo Qingqing were all enveloped by the strongest law domain at this moment. All of them had looks of terror on their faces. Qi Yu lifted his palm and pressed it downwards. In an instant, his law domain erupted forth as countless battle palm imprints blasted towards this space. The supreme might of a battle saint could destroy everything. Those experts frantically fled. There were also some who wanted to unleash their strength to resist. However, when the destructive palm imprints slammed into them, screams of agony rang out unceasingly. In just an instant, this entire space was razed to flat ground. In fact, numerous palm imprints could be seen on the ancient mountain peak. In an instant, the entire mountain peak turned deathly silent. Chapter 1378. This man is so powerful. Only now did the people in the surroundings discover that the man standing not far away from Mo Qingqing was actually so terrifying. With a single strike, he annihilated all the experts who surrounded them. The main peak's Pill Lord was stunned. Chiu Mo's elders were stunned as well. Even the elders of Xueqingyang's clan were stunned, as though they hadn't recovered from the shock yet. A peak stage immortal king. The expressions of everyone trembled. Even in this place, this man's cultivation base was still at the peak. Other than a handful of people who could contend against him, the others wouldn't even be able to withstand a single strike from him. However, why would such a powerful character silently stand behind Mo Qingqing? Who was he? The crowd stared at Qin Wentian who walked to the side of Mo Qingqing, as well as the experts from the Battle Saint tribe who stood before Qin Wentian. When they thought back to the arrogant order Qin Wentian gave earlier, everyone felt a chill in their hearts. This peak stage immortal king actually listened to Qin Wentian's orders. Earlier, it was Qin Wentian who gave the order to kill. Hence, he acted, killing everyone around Mo Qingqing with a single strike. Only to see at this moment, Qin Wentian held Mo Qingqing's hand as he surveyed the surroundings. "Qingqing, those who humiliated you today have to pay a price. I initially wanted you to cultivate peacefully in the unaging Immortal Mountains, but since this place is no longer suitable for you, just follow me back." "Emichim, I'll listen to you." Mo Qingqing nodded lightly. When Qin Wentian stood out, she already knew that there was no way she could remain in the unaging Immortal Mountains any longer. "Who are you?" At this moment, the main peak's Pill Lord also sensed that Qin Wentian wasn't an ordinary character. It was one thing for him to have such powerful combat prowess, but with such a powerful character like Qi Yu protecting him, what identity did he have? Qi Yu's cultivation base was the same as him, a peak stage immortal king. But his combat prowess was still unclear. After all, from that strike earlier, there was basically no way to tell how strong Qi Yu was. "You don't need to know who I am. Since all of you want to bear the burden for Chiu Mo, let's do it together." Right now, I want him to die. If anyone dares to obstruct me, feel free to give it a try. Qin Wentian's cold eyes swept over the crowd. He pointed his finger at the elder of Chiu Mo's side, the person who insulted Mo Qingqing earlier. That elder said to Chiu Mo, "You even want a married man? Don't you find it dirty?" It was precisely this sentence that infuriated Qin Wentian. Initially, Qin Wentian planned to settle the debt with him after the banquet ended. However, Mo Qingqing was treated so unfairly during the concoction banquet. He couldn't bear it any longer and could only kill her. That immortal king turned ashen. His clan was the lord of one of the cities governed by the Supreme Sword School, and it was an extremely large city. His cultivation base was also very strong, at the peak stage of the Immortal King realm. Although he was only at the initial phase of the Immortal King realm, he could already be considered a character at the peak. In addition, there were people in his clan who were even more powerful than him. "Qi Yu, kill him." Qin Wentian spoke. Qi Yu was one of the strongest 3 out of the 36 mid-stage Immortal Kings of the Battle Saint tribe, in existence at the peak stage of the Immortal King realm. With regards to his strength, Qin Wentian didn't doubt it at all. As long as the unaging Immortal Emperor didn't appear, no one here would be able to obstruct Qi Yu. Yes. Qi Yu's gigantic body took a step forward. Just a single step caused the entire mountain peak to tremble. That immortal king from the Chiu clan turned ashen as he stared at Qin Wentian. "Who are you exactly? Dead people don't need to know so much." Qin Wentian's expression was incomparably calm. That immortal king from the Chiu clan had an ugly expression on his face as he similarly unleashed his aura. Bang! Qi Yu stomped down, causing the mountain peak to crumble. The area where the Chiu clan's expert was at directly cracked apart as he was enveloped by his law domain. That immortal king from the Chiu clan unleashed his aura to the extreme as his body expanded, transforming into a giant, akin to a divinity. Immortal kings had bodies of laws. Their bodies were akin to kings and they could directly transform into giants for combat, possessing boundless strength. Qi Yu's expression was calm. Although both of them were peak-stage immortal kings, his opponent was merely at the initial phase. Although they were on the same level, the disparity between the early phase and late phase was extremely great. At the Immortal King realm, even the slightest disparity would be extremely great. Unless one had the strength to jump levels to fight, the slightest disparity would be enough to determine victory or defeat. Qi Yu's entire body erupted with a supreme immortal light. His bones trembled as boundless battle saint might gushed forth, sweeping through everything. Palm imprints covered the sky as the roars of a divine ape shook the heavens, amplifying his combat prowess. At this instant, Qi Yu transformed into an ancient battle god, his eyes filled with disdain. Boom! Boundless battle saint might fused into his law domain as a towering immortal cudgel appeared in the air. Qi Yu stretched his hand out and grabbed it. The wind and clouds changed as the cosmos shuddered, causing the people in this space to be so frightened that they frantically retreated. After that, the crowd only saw Qi Yu stomping on the ground again. The body of that expert from the Chiu clan directly flew up into the air along with the shattered mountain peak. After that, a cudgel smashed down, causing the entire space to be filled with cudgel shadows. Upon feeling that might, that expert from the Chiu clan turned pale. Such power caused him to feel a sense of despair. For immortal kings, it was very difficult to kill each other at the same level. However, his cultivation base wasn't just a little bit inferior to Qi Yu's. Not only was there a difference in cultivation base, there was also the disparity in all other aspects. Even if they were at the same level, it was impossible for him to win. Xue Qingyang's elder and the Pill Lord of the main peak were all stifled. When they saw that cudgel descending from the sky, a roar of despair rang out. This roar originated from that expert from the Chiu clan. However, this roar wasn't able to change his fate. He didn't choose to fight but chose to flee instead. But could he escape? That cudgel engulfed the entire space. When that cudgel smashed down, the entire space trembled as the shattered mountain peak turned into dust. That elder from the Chiu clan died under that cudgel. A peak-stage immortal king was finished off with a single cudgel strike. The raging wind howled unceasingly as the destructive might permeated the air. That shattered mountain peak vanished. With a single strike from a peak-stage immortal king, let alone a mountain peak, even an entire mountain peak would be razed to the ground. If someone was bored and used their full strength to attack the ground, they would be able to destroy an entire mountain range. Dust flew up into the air. The crippled Chiu Mo struggled on the ground, trembling as he climbed up. When he saw the experts from the Chiu clan who surrounded Mo Qingqing had all disappeared, he saw his elder vanishing, and when he sensed that his cultivation base had been crippled, there was only boundless despair in his heart. He wanted to cry out but he discovered that he couldn't make a sound. He, Chiu Mo, was very proud. Very strong. He told Mo Qingqing to choose him in front of her husband, Qin Wentian. He said that as long as Mo Qingqing chose him, he wouldn't mind her past. He would definitely be more outstanding compared to her husband. When he thought of this, he started to laugh. His laughter was filled with incomparable sorrow and despair. The sins he brought upon himself were the hardest to bear. At this moment, even if he wanted to ask who Qin Wentian was exactly, he wouldn't be able to do so. He brought a calamity upon himself, bringing calamity upon his clan. He was a sinner, there was no longer anything left for him to live for. With difficulty, he continued to walk forward, towards the shattered mountain peak. After that, Chiu Mo directly walked down, his body falling into the depths of the mountain peak. What was the point of living? This scene caused the hearts of everyone to tremble. It wasn't that they sympathized with Chiu Mo, but rather, they felt that everything had changed too quickly. Not long ago, at the pill concoction banquet, how glorious was Chiu Mo. How arrogant was he when he said such words to Mo Qingqing. His elder even said that Mo Qingqing was dirty in front of everyone. But so what of it? At that time, everyone felt that Mo Qingqing wouldn't be able to resist. Even if her husband was here, so what of it? He, Chiu Mo, was strong, the Chiu clan was strong. The people from the unaging immortal mountains didn't say anything because they were strong. Everyone felt that it was only natural. Looking back at it now, the members of the Chiu clan were all dead. Chiu Mo committed suicide and the peak stage immortal king of the Chiu clan was killed with a single rod strike. Qin Wentian once asked, was this bullying? Someone replied, yes, so what of it? Qin Wentian said, since you guys want to play, let's see who can bully the weak today. Who could bully him, Qin Wentian, and his wife, Mo Qingqing? Yi Ro's emotions were the greatest. Her body was still trembling. Chiu Mo had died, he had nothing to live for and chose to commit suicide. Before this, she felt that Mo Qingqing had no judgment and was jealous of Mo Qingqing's talent and beauty. She felt that Mo Qingqing should have agreed to Chiu Mo's pursuit. Her husband came alone to the unaging immortal mountains to provide support. His strength was simply too weak, and when compared to the Chiu clan, they simply couldn't be mentioned in the same breath. However now, she saw it clearly. Qin Wentian only brought a single person with him. But that single person was able to sweep through everything, easily annihilating all the experts of the Chiu clan. Mo Qingqing had no judgment. For a beauty like Mo Qingqing, how could her husband be weak? Yi Ro knew how foolish her self-righteous thoughts were. The Pill Lord of the main peak was also extremely shocked. But at this moment, he actually didn't know what to say. He also didn't dare to say anything. He naturally could sense how strong Qi Yu's attack was. But such an expert was killed just because of a single sentence from Qin Wentian. In that case, which power did Qin Wentian belong to? The answer seemed to be on the verge of being revealed. To be able to use a peak stage immortal king as a bodyguard and order him to kill someone, what power did he belong to? Was there a need to think about it? Was he the same as his unaging immortal mountains, an emperor-ranked power? Since he thought of this, the people of the Xue clan naturally thought of this as well. Xue Qingyang's expression was extremely ugly. This matter originally had nothing to do with him, and it was Qiu Mo who was rude first. But Qiu Mo was his junior apprentice brother, hence, he stood out to say something. However, Qin Wentian rebutted him. How could he tolerate Qin Wentian's rebuttal? Xue Qingyang's elder had an ugly expression on his face. Their Xue clan had people from the Taihua Immortal dynasty, hence, they were arrogant and had no one in their eyes. How could they place a mere initial stage immortal king in their eyes? But now, who would still dare to say those words before? You want to die together with Qiu Mo? Qin Wentian stared at Xue Qingyang. This sentence caused Xue Qingyang to be speechless. Did he still dare to say that he would die together with Qiu Mo? You want to kill my wife as well? Qin Wentian glanced at Xue Qingyang's elder, the expert who sat beside the main peak's pill lord earlier. Qin Wentian coldly spoke, tell me, how are you all going to die? Chapter 1379. The eyes of that expert from the Xue clan flashed. Right now, he no longer had the arrogance he had earlier. After seeing how domineering Qin Wentian was and personally witnessing Qi Yu's combat prowess, he naturally knew that this young man before him had a very deep background and wasn't any weaker than his Xue clan. If this was the case, he naturally wouldn't get involved in this mess again. As for the words spoken earlier, he didn't expect that an initial stage immortal king would actually be so powerful. Also, the unaging immortal mountains was truly trash. Even with such a powerful background, they actually didn't know the identity of this young man. Upon thinking of this, he cursed silently in his heart. He stared at Qin Wentian, sir, there was a misunderstanding earlier, there's no misunderstanding. Qin Wentian didn't even wait for the other party to finish speaking, directly interrupting him. What a joke. Since he wanted to take responsibility, using Mo Qingqing's life to threaten him. Now, everything was resolved just because of the word misunderstanding. If he didn't allow Qi Yu to display his strength, would the attitude of the other party change? Would they spare him and Mo Qingqing? Now that they saw Qi Yu's strength, it was simply ridiculous to say that it was a misunderstanding. Qin Wentian's cold voice caused the other party to frown. He continued, I'm from the Xue clan of the Taihua Immortal dynasty. The clan leader of my Xue clan controls countless experts in the Taihua Immortal dynasty. We were in the wrong earlier, we didn't know your identity or we wouldn't have interfered in this matter. Now that we know, we naturally won't interfere. I hope that you won't hold it against us. Wouldn't it be better for us to be friends? You truly overestimate yourself. Qin Wentian's expression was incomparably calm. He didn't expect that even now, the other party still had no intentions of apologizing. An expert from the Taihua Immortal dynasty? Be friends? Back then, the Taihua Immortal dynasty also participated in the adjudication battle, wanting Qing'er to marry off to the Tenlan Heaven Kingdom. Although they belonged to the major power behind them, they still contributed a lot. Be friends? Qi Yu, kill him. Qin Wentian calmly stated. That indifferent tone of his caused people to feel a bone-piercing chill in their bones. Just when the peak stage immortal king of the Taihua Immortal dynasty wanted to ease the tension between them, wanting to be friends, what he got in return was a cold voice. Kill him. What a calm voice. Such calmness was terrifying to the extreme. In his eyes, even the Taihua Immortal dynasty, a peak power of the eastern regions, was nothing in his eyes. What kind of person was he? Yes. What was even more terrifying was Qi Yu's reply. He was as calm as ever, with no hesitation at all. It was like as long as Qin Wentian gave the order, he would do it. Even if the person he killed was related to the Taihua Immortal dynasty. From the calm conversation between the two of them, one could see the absolute control Qin Wentian had over this peak-stage immortal king. The absolute obedience of a peak-stage immortal king. It was highly possible that this wasn't simply because he came from an emperor-ranked power. Bang! At the instant Qi Yu stepped out, the hearts of everyone trembled violently. Wasn't it enough to wipe out the Qiu family? Earlier, that expert from the Shui clan used Mo Qingqing's life to threaten Qin Wentian to release Qiu Mo. He said that if Qin Wentian didn't release Qiu Mo, he would kill Qin Wentian's wife as well. At that time, that expert from the Shui clan disregarded everything and was extremely confident in his own abilities. But now, the situation was completely different. Now, it was Qin Wentian's turn to be unexcelled in the world. "Sir, why must you be so ruthless?" The countenance of that expert from the Shui clan drastically changed. His cultivation base wasn't higher compared to Qiu Mo's elder. Although he was a peak-stage immortal king, he was only at the initial phase. Maybe his combat prowess might be stronger, but it was still impossible for him to stand against Qi Yu. Qi Yu's tyrannical attack earlier directly shocked everyone. This was why he lowered his stance and admitted defeat, wanting to be friends with Qin Wentian. But he didn't expect that Qin Wentian didn't want to be friends with him. Qin Wentian was giving him a chance to repent and apologize. However, he didn't do so. Since he didn't even have this bit of awareness and even revealed his identity as someone from the Taihua Immortal dynasty, what else was there to say? When the terrifying pressure bore down, no one dared to block Qi Yu, including the experts from the Shui clan and the Pill Lord of the main peak. Qi Yu's aura was simply too terrifying. Even he didn't have the confidence to block it. The experts from the Shui clan all stepped aside. The countenance of that expert from the Shui clan turned incredibly unsightly. He then spoke, "I apologize for the words I said earlier. I was in the wrong, I hope that Sir can retract your command." Still as arrogant as ever. Qin Wentian coldly laughed in his heart. Since he gave the command, how could he retract it? Qi Yu's law domain enveloped the expert from the Shui clan. When the towering battle saint might bore down on him, that expert from the Shui clan finally began to tremble. Although he unleashed his tyrannical aura and domain, he discovered that his strength was completely suppressed under the might of the battle saint might. His strength couldn't even be compared to Qi Yu. Shui Qingyang stared at this scene as his heart trembled. His countenance was as pale as paper. Initially, the Shui clan wouldn't oppose Qin Wentian. It was all because of him. He had interfered, wanting to stand up for Qiu Mo, he wanted to bear the consequences for Qiu Mo. If his actions caused a calamity to befall the Shui clan, what did he count for? It was still a gigantic immortal cudgel, exuding an unparalleled tyrannical might. The expert from the Shui clan was finally afraid. His body trembled as he shouted, "Sir, please forgive me. I am willing to pay for my mistake." Boom! The immortal cudgel swept down, how could there be any room for retreat? That expert from the Shui clan roared as a fearsome might erupted forth from him. A gigantic immortal diagram manifested, coiling around the immortal cudgel. But at this moment, the immortal cudgel suddenly transformed into a myriad of mirages, blotting out the sun. Everything in this space was destroyed. Boom! Another heaven-shaking collision occurred. There were no flashy attacks, no complicated innate techniques. When the disparity in strength reached a certain level, when one strength could achieve absolute suppression, the most direct and violent attack would be the most effective attack. The mountain peak continued to shatter, emitting cracking sounds. The entire main peak was trembling as thunderous rumbling sounds rang out, ringing in the ears of the crowd. But at this moment, no one had the time to care about that. Their hearts were pounding as they stared at that expert from the Shui clan who had vanished. Another strike. It was still as tyrannical as before, showing no mercy at all. So what if he was from the Taihua Immortal dynasty? He would be killed with a single cudgel strike. The experts from the Shui clan glanced at each other, incomparably terrified. Xue Qingyang's body trembled unceasingly. As an immortal king, he actually couldn't help but tremble. How are you going to endure? Qin Wentian stared at Xue Qingyang as he asked. Staring into Qin Wentian's eyes, Xue Qingyang only felt that all his confidence, all his pride, was completely destroyed in an instant. There was only a lowly thought in his mind, to continue living on. Him now didn't have any doubts that Qin Wentian wouldn't dare to kill him. That earlier scene happened right before his eyes, he couldn't forget it. How was he going to endure? Using his life to endure? He was unwilling. He, Xue Qingyang, was the #1 alchemist in the unaging Immortal Mountains, his talent was #1. Was he going to die just like that? The more unwilling he was, the more pain he felt. Finally, with a thud, he knelt before Qin Wentian. I apologize for the words I said earlier. Xue Qingyang lowered his head, his tone was stiff. This kneel indicated that his pride was shattered, completely destroyed. This kneel meant that he wouldn't die. A heaven chosen at the Immortal King realm, the incomparably arrogant senior brother Xue Qingyang was now kneeling on the ground, begging for forgiveness. This scene caused a huge impact to the disciples of the unaging Immortal Mountains. Qin Wentian stared at Xue Qingyang. For an immortal king to kneel, it naturally required courage. Xue Qingyang's hatred for him must have reached the extreme. For the sake of survival, such a prideful person actually knelt on the ground, abandoning his pride. Actually, even if you didn't kneel, I wouldn't have killed you. Qin Wentian calmly spoke. Xue Qingyang's luck wasn't bad, he didn't say anything that caused Qin Wentian to feel killing intent. Hence, Qin Wentian had never thought of taking Xue Qingyang's life. Xue Qingyang's veins bulged as he clenched his fists. Qin Wentian calmly stared at him, there was no expression on his face. After that, he turned to the Pill Lord of the main peak. The Pill Lord's countenance alternated between shades of green and white. He stared at Qin Wentian and asked, "Who are you? You don't have the qualifications to know." Qin Wentian spoke. After that, he held Imo Qingqing's hand and walked towards the Pill Lord. Qi Yu followed beside Qin Wentian, walking step by step towards the main peak's Pill Lord. The main peak's Pill Lord stood there, his expression kept changing. After that, he saw Qin Wentian lifting his hand. Pack! Qin Wentian's hand flung out, directly slapping the Pill Lord's face. As a peak stage immortal king, the main peak's Pill Lord actually didn't block it. He could totally block it, but when he saw how domineering Qin Wentian was, and how powerful Qi Yu was, he actually didn't block it. He didn't know what the consequences would be if he blocked this slap. The unaging immortal emperor was in this mountain, causing such a huge commotion. Most probably, he already knew about it but he didn't come out. The unaging immortal emperor didn't come out. What did this mean? Maybe, even immortal emperors wouldn't be able to come out. This slap is for the unfair treatment my wife suffered during the pill concoction banquet. You are not worthy to be the Pill Lord. Qin Wentian coldly spoke. After that, he brought Imo Qingqing and walked past the main peak's Pill Lord. Such dominance completely stunned everyone. Qin Wentian pulled Imo Qingqing along and slapped the main peak's Pill Lord in front of everyone, all because of the unfair treatment his wife suffered. Yi Rou stared at Imo Qingqing's back view. She discovered that her jealousy for Imo Qingqing didn't diminish at all. In fact, it grew even stronger. Why was her husband actually so tyrannical, so fearless, so unstoppable? Killing an immortal king from the Qiu clan, killing an immortal king from the Xue clan. Xue Qingyang knelt down and slapped the main peak's Pill Lord. All of this was because of a moment of anger. For Imo Qingqing, he swept through the entire unaging immortal mountains in a tyrannical manner. Senior, I once again thank Senior for taking care of my wife. Junior bids my farewell. Qin Wentian bowed to Imo Qingqing's master. Master, disciple will leave first. If there's a chance in the future, I will come and visit you again. Mo Qingqing's eyes were slightly red. Go on. Mo Qingqing's master smiled. When she saw how domineering Qin Wentian was, she felt happy for Mo Qingqing. She was also at ease about Mo Qingqing's future. The two of them bowed. After that, their silhouettes flashed as they soared up into the air. Qi Yu stepped out and followed behind them. The three of them soared up into the air together. Countless gazes stared at their departing silhouettes as waves of shock rose in their hearts. Chapter 1380. After the departure of Qin Wentian and the other two, the hearts of the spectators didn't calm down even after a long time. The pill banquet of the unaging Immortal Mountains was a grand event that occurred once every 10 years. But at this moment, the two most outstanding disciples of the main peak, Shui Qingyang, knelt down and begged for mercy while Qiu Mo died. The Shui clan's elders were all killed and the Qiu clan's members were all wiped out. The reason for all of this was because of Qiu Mo's disrespect towards Mo Qingqing. The elders of the Qiu clan humiliated Mo Qingqing. If they knew that Mo Qingqing's husband had such terrifying capabilities, Qiu Mo, Shui Qingyang and the others wouldn't have dared to antagonize Mo Qingqing. At this moment, Yi Ro's entire body was drenched in cold sweat. She felt her entire body was devoid of strength. Luckily, she was just a nameless nobody and Qin Wentian didn't place her in his eyes at all. Also, during the pill banquet, it wasn't her place to say anything. If she also humiliated Mo Qingqing, her ending would most probably be the same as Qiu Mo. She was the silent and cold number one beauty of the unaging Immortal Mountains. So it turned out that her husband was actually such a character. What was laughable and sad was that she would often encourage Mo Qingqing to accept Qiu Mo's pursuit. Now that she thought about it, how ridiculous was this? With such a husband, how could Mo Qingqing possibly fall for Qiu Mo? Yi Ro glanced at her fiancé again as she sighed in her heart. The disparity between her and Mo Qingqing in terms of companionship was the same as the disparity in terms of beauty. The difference was like the heavens and the earth, there was no way to make up for it. At this moment, the 9 pill lords felt even more complicated in their hearts. Only they knew that the unaging Immortal Emperor was cultivating in the Immortal Mountains. With such a huge commotion, he definitely knew about it but he didn't come out. The reason behind this caused their hearts to tremble. Next, it was time to clean up the aftermath. But all of this had nothing to do with Qin Wentian. Since he chose to walk out, he could only bring Qingqing away with him. Even if she wasn't tempering herself in the outside world, he would think of ways to strengthen himself, to the point where he could help Mo Qingqing grow stronger bit by bit. Or, even if Mo Qingqing didn't grow stronger, he wanted to protect her forever. This was his responsibility. Qin Wentian and his companions stealthily returned to the Cloud Prefecture. Right now, the atmosphere of the 13 prefectures was extremely tense. The Cloud Prefecture was surrounded by a huge army, and the atmosphere was extremely tense. Even at the border of the Cloud Prefecture, one could feel the tension in the atmosphere. During these days, many of the stronger characters in the Cloud Prefecture left one after another. They had the ability to avoid the battlefield but they naturally chose to do so in case they were implicated by the aftershocks of the battle. For a war of this level, there was a high possibility that a large-scale battle between immortal kings would erupt. It was still fine if both sides intentionally suppressed it. But in the midst of a chaotic war, how could they care so much? If they were the slightest bit careless, a calamitous outcome might occur. An entire city might be razed to the ground. For those who had the ability to leave, they naturally chose to leave. Right now, in the vast Cloud Prefecture, there were only those who left. Very few people came back to the Cloud Prefecture. Qin Wentian directly rushed to the Immortal Qianbian Gate in the Cloud Prefecture. On the way back, Mo Qingqing also learned of the situation in the Cloud Prefecture. Qin Wentian initially wanted to escort her back as well, but Mo Qingqing insisted and wanted to stay behind with him. Qin Wentian didn't insist too much either. This war wouldn't end so badly that he couldn't even protect a single person. In the Immortal Qianbian Gate, Qin Wentian first sent Mo Qingqing back to her residence before telling Qi Yu to return. As for himself, he headed to Bai Wuya's residence. Bai Wuya's residence was enveloped by a mysterious sense of will energy, blocking the immortal senses of others. If someone intruded, they would instantly know. This was a method that experts would use, and Qin Wentian could easily achieve it now. After all, if one didn't block out immortal senses, it would be easy for others to pry into one's privacy. And as long as you used your will to envelop your residence, others would instantly know that you don't wish to be disturbed by others using immortal senses. This was an unwritten rule. If someone forcefully intruded, it would be a taboo and would offend others. It was like an ordinary person closing the door from the inside, but you broke the door and barged in. Qin Wentian arrived outside Bai Wuya's residence and told a serving girl to report his arrival. After that, he entered Bai Wuya's residence and discovered that there were many people in Bai Wuya's residence. Also, with a single glance, a smile appeared on his face. The people here were all from the Heavenly Talisman realm. Seems like in times of crisis, the Immortal Qianbian Gate strength wasn't sufficient and ultimately still needed to borrow the strength of the Heavenly Talisman realm to resist. This was also within his expectations. After all, ever since the Emperor Lord established the Immortal Qianbian Gate, the Immortal Qianbian Gate and the Heavenly Talisman realm already had countless ties with the Heavenly Talisman realm. In addition, the Heavenly Talisman realm had always given them a mission to assist the Immortal Qianbian Gate in destroying the Dongshengshan Gate, unifying the 13 prefectures. If they could really accomplish this, the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures would be renamed as the 1000 Transformations 13 prefectures. Junior brother Qin has returned. Everyone sat there and chatted. When they saw Qin Wentian walking over, one of them smiled and greeted. This person was none other than the Saber Lord of Death. It has been many years since we last met. Senior brother, you are still as glorious as ever. Qin Wentian smiled. How am I glorious? As for you, back then when I met you, your cultivation base was so low. Now, you are actually an immortal king, about to catch up to me. The Saber Lord sighed. Bai Wuya's judgment is truly impressive. It wouldn't be so easy for me to raise my cultivation base now. Qin Wentian smiled. He intentionally glanced at the Saber Lord's cultivation base. He was at the mid-stage of the Immortal King realm. Back then in the particle world, he could already see the disparity between him and his senior brother Bai Wuya. It was just that he didn't know his exact cultivation level. But now, it seems like Bai Wuya was already at the peak stage of the peak stage back then. Wentian, there's no need to be humble. Given your cultivation speed, you can indeed make us senior brothers feel ashamed. Bai Wuya sat on the host's seat and smiled. Everyone here was from the Heavenly Talisman realm, there was no need for him to hide anything. Senior brother, you are already an immortal emperor. Why are you still making fun of me? Qin Wentian's lips twitched. After that, everyone laughed. One of the immortal kings spoke, the two of you are extremely powerful. Being overly humble would be considered arrogance. Qin Wentian glanced at this beautiful immortal king and called out, Senior sister. That female immortal king nodded. Is Qin Xian doing well? It has been a long time since I last saw her. Qin Wentian asked. Qin Xian was a beautiful maiden who cultivated together with Qin Wentian and Jun Mengchen back then. As for this female immortal king, she was none other than the immortal king who recommended Qin Xian. Back then, Qin Wentian had met her once and his memories of her were extremely deep. Qin Xian is naturally doing well. It's just that the pressure is too great. The female immortal king rolled her eyes at Qin Wentian. Back then, the three of you roamed the immortal realms together and went to the Dongshengshan Gate to participate in the grand banquet at the Dongshengshan Gate. Your cultivation bases were about the same, but now, you have already broken through to the Immortal King realm. Jun Mengchen has also stepped through the gate, and the senior brother he recommended is bringing him around to temper himself. Qin Xian is the only one who is still lacking. You can't say that Qin Xian is lacking. Who asked her to encounter Qin Wentian and Jun Mengchen when she was cultivating? These two fellows are already monstrous existences. It's the same even in our world. To Qin Xian, this is pressure but also motivation. Bai Wuya laughed. The female immortal king nodded, feeling depressed in her heart. Back then, she still wanted Zi Qin Xian to compete against these two fellows. It could be considered as her competition against Bai Wuya and that old monster. But now, it seems like she lost miserably. That's true. With these two powerful junior apprentice brothers, even us old fellows would feel some pressure. Another immortal king laughed. This time around, they all accepted the same mission, to destroy the Dongshengshan Gate. They naturally had to work together and come to an agreement. Wentian, there are some masks here. Choose one. Bai Wuya waved his hand as several immortal-ranked masks of various shapes and sizes appeared in the air. Qin Wentian glanced at everyone in bewilderment. After that, he only heard Bai Wuya laughing. Your senior apprentice brothers would often roam the immortal realms, and it's easy for them to be recognized by others. Hence, they would wear masks during combat. If not, with so many immortal kings descending upon the immortal Qianbian Gate, it would be easy for others to be suspicious. Qin Wentian nodded. Such a large number of immortal kings descending would indeed cause others to be suspicious. Senior brother, can I take a few more? Qin Wentian asked, not explaining the Battle Saint tribe. However, Bai Wuya could already guess it. Back then when he was at the Immortal Foundation realm, there were already many people from the Battle Saint tribe around Qin Wentian. Although he was curious, since Qin Wentian didn't say anything, he didn't ask about it. Okay, there are still quite a few here. Bai Wuya continued waving his hands. When Qin Wentian saw this scene, he understood that his senior brother Bai Wuya knew who he was preparing for and had chosen many unique masks for. Wentian, go and make some preparations. Right now, our strength is all concentrated in the immortal Qianbian Gate. The Dongshengshan Gate is also consolidating their strength and summoning their troops back. Before they surround us, we need to have a few battles to temper ourselves. Just nice, since you have already entered the Immortal King realm, you can use the Immortal Kings of the Immortal Qianbian Gate to temper your combat prowess. Bai Wuya spoke. Qin Wentian understood his meaning. He wanted to have a small-scale ambush. Right. Qin Wentian nodded. Senior brothers, I will return first. Go ahead. Everyone nodded. Qin Wentian returned to his own residence. His sense of will enveloped the core region of the residence. Qingqing was waiting for him. When she saw Qin Wentian returning, she involuntarily smiled and walked over. Everyone is not around, it's so quiet that I'm not used to it. Walking to Qingqing's side, Qin Wentian cupped her face with his hands as he spoke in a gentle voice, the Great War is imminent, there won't be much time left. Isn't it a wonderful thing to enjoy the world of the two of us? A radiant smile appeared on Imo Qingqing's beautiful face, causing Qin Wentian to be in a daze. During these years, you were alone outside. It must have been hard on you. Qin Wentian's voice was gentle. Now that I'm back, how are you going to compensate me? Qingqing had a mischievous look on her face. What compensation do you want? Qin Wentian had a naughty smile on his face as he winked at Qingqing. It was as though she understood Qin Wentian's meaning. Qingqing's face instantly turned red, she didn't dare to look him in the eye. She spoke in a low voice, you have bad intentions. I was discovered by my Qingqing. Qin Wentian hugged Qingqing's soft body as he walked towards the room. Naturally, It was a wonderful scene. Chapter 1381. The immortal Qianbian Gate retracted all of its strength and made preparations for war. The Dongshengshan Gate naturally didn't remain idle during these days. After the immortal Qianbian Gate retreated, they gradually occupied the 5 prefectures controlled by the immortal Qianbian Gate. Right now, they were using the method of encirclement to gather the immortal armies of the 4 prefectures at the border of the Cloud Prefecture. They were also worried that the immortal Qianbian Gate would go all out, staking everything on a single throw. Hence, they didn't advance rashly but chose to take things slow and steady. They set up teleportation arrays at the 4 prefectures. Once there's a commotion in a certain location, they would be able to gather the immortal armies there immediately. Naturally, this was also a precautionary measure. In truth, their people had long infiltrated the Cloud Prefecture. If the immortal Qianbian Gate mobilized an army, they would instantly know. Right now, the Dongshengshan Gate's encirclement of the immortal Qianbian Gate had already formed a black cloud. Once the order was given, they would immediately advance towards the main city of the Cloud Prefecture. This time around, not only did they want a victory, they also wanted to let the people of the 13 prefectures understand who was the true master of this land. At the border of the Cloud Prefecture and Yu Prefecture, one of the 4 armies of the Dongshengshan Gate was stationed there. This army was extremely majestic and occupied an entire city. It was formed from the troops of the Dongshengshan Gate and their strength was extremely shocking. The person leading this army was one of the 4 paragons under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. Back then when the emperor-ranked war erupted in the Evergreen Kingdom, the White Emperor appeared at the Dongshengshan Gate and killed a paragon with a wave of his hand. Hence, among the 4 paragons now, one of them was a replacement. As for the other 3 paragons, they were all extremely ancient experts that followed the Dongxing Heaven Emperor to conquer the 13 prefectures. The 4 paragons under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, each of them led a supreme army. One could say that this time around, the Dongshengshan Gate used all its strength against the immortal Qianbian Gate, wanting to destroy the immortal Qianbian Gate in one fell swoop. Naturally, the immortal Qianbian Gate could choose to flee. But if that was the case, regardless of the Emperor Qianbian or the immortal Qianbian Gate, they wouldn't have the face to come to the 13 prefectures ever again. Back then, it was because the Emperor Qianbian fought to a draw with the Dongxing Heaven Emperor that the immortal Qianbian Gate obtained the 6 prefectures from the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. Now, if they abandoned their sect and fled, it would be a great humiliation. Outside the city at the border of the Cloud and Yu prefectures, over 10 silhouettes suddenly appeared. This city had already been cleared, and all the guards were from the Dongshengshan Gate. When the guards saw the masked silhouettes, they immediately berated, "This is the territory of the Dongshengshan Gate. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter." Those masked silhouettes acted as though they didn't hear it. They directly entered the city, moving with an inconceivable speed. Boom! All of a sudden, the sound of drums rang out behind them. The immortal senses of the guards in the city swept out and very swiftly, more and more Immortal Foundation experts soared up into the air. Among them, there were a few immortal kings. They directly walked towards the masked silhouettes and coldly asked, "Who are you?" The masked silhouettes soared up into the air. One of them then spoke, "The people of the immortal Qianbian Gate have issued a challenge to immortal kings at the same cultivation level. Do you accept the challenge?" A commotion broke out in the army as more and more experts rushed over. Numerous immortal kings rushed over as well, exuding a majestic aura. If it was based on the number of people, it was sufficient to overwhelm the 10+ immortal kings here. A mere 10+ immortal kings actually dared to come here. They simply didn't know the immensity of the heavens and earth. The Dongshengshan Gate naturally could choose not to accept the challenge. They could directly rush up and use numbers to suppress the immortal kings. However, immortal kings were naturally arrogant. Since the masked silhouettes issued a challenge, how could they not accept it? At this moment, an expert with a fearsome aura stepped out, causing the entire space to tremble. This person was none other than one of the 4 paragons under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, Paragon Golden Cauldron. This Paragon Golden Cauldron was one of the late replacements for the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. His strength was incomparably tyrannical and his cultivation base had already reached the transformation boundary, very close to the Immortal Emperor realm. He was definitely a supremely terrifying existence. People of the Immortal Qinbian Gate, do you all not dare to show yourselves? Are you all hiding your faces? Paragon Golden Cauldron's voice boomed out like a great bell, containing the sharpness of the great Tao within his words. There's no need for nonsense. Today, we are here to issue a challenge to immortal kings. Do you accept the challenge? That masked silhouette spoke. How do we fight? Paragon Golden Cauldron asked. At the same cultivation level. As the sound of his voice faded, a figure walked out. His aura gushed forth as destructive devil might gushed forth, as well as traces of sharp sword chi. This person was none other than Qin Wentian. He wore a fiendish devil mask on his face, resembling a devil cultivator. Devil cultivator? Paragon Golden Cauldron frowned. Devil cultivators were mostly gathered on the myriad devil islands. Although there were also devil cultivators in the immortal realms, there weren't many of them. Paragon Golden Cauldron, you seem to be a little too curious. You should have sensed his cultivation base. He's an initial stage immortal king. If you accept the challenge, send out someone at the same cultivation level as you. That masked silhouette continued. Paragon Golden Cauldron muttered to himself. After that, he turned his head and stared at everyone. The people of the Immortal Qinbian Gate were so audacious, coming here to issue a challenge. Most probably, they must have come prepared. In that case, the combat prowess of this person would surely be extremely powerful. In a war between 2 armies, immortal kings would definitely be the cornerstone of the army. Unless immortal emperors directly fought against each other, the crux of victory would be determined by the immortal kings. No losses were allowed. Guyu, are you willing to accept the challenge? Paragon Golden Cauldron asked. Disciple is willing. From within the Dongxing Gate, a young immortal king walked out. He was the beloved disciple of Paragon Golden Cauldron and had extremely powerful combat prowess. Paragon Golden Cauldron was very confident in him, this was why he chose him to accept the challenge. Since this is the case, let's both sides retreat and empty the battlefield. The masked silhouette spoke. Paragon Golden Cauldron nodded as both sides retreated, emptying the battlefield. At this location, only Qin Wentian and Guyu remained. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed with cold killing intent. The Dongxing Gate has always been a power he wanted to destroy. The grudge between him and the Dongxing Heaven Emperor had a very long history. Now that there's a chance to kill the experts of the Dongxing Gate, he naturally wouldn't miss it. He wouldn't show any mercy at all. Guyu is the beloved disciple of Paragon Golden Cauldron and is proficient in strength similar to Paragon Golden Cauldron. His attacks are tyrannical and his defense is extremely strong. A strand of immortal sense transmitted into Qin Wentian's ears. He nodded silently in his heart as a fearsome destructive devil might congregated. Fearsome law energy circulated around him as an incomparably sharp devil saber of destruction appeared in his hand. The saber art that the undying old freak imparted to him could be used to conceal the techniques he was proficient in the past. After that, he infused the god's hand into his saber attacks, allowing him to unleash tyrannical attacks while not being seen through. A gigantic cauldron floated around Guyu. In fact, golden law light flashed, instantly enveloping the space where Qin Wentian was at. His law domain was none other than the Golden Cauldron law domain. The disciples that Paragon Golden Cauldron accepted all cultivated the same law attribute as him. Guyu was none other than the inheritor of Paragon Golden Cauldron. Rumble. An incomparably heavy suppressive might gushed forth, wanting to crush Qin Wentian into oblivion. Qin Wentian unleashed his destructive devil law energy as strands of saber intent infused with sword attribute energy manifested, transforming into numerous devil sabers of destruction that slashed at the gigantic cauldron shadow. Guyu pointed his finger at Qin Wentian. In an instant, a gigantic golden cauldron appeared in the air, blotting out the sun as it revolved frenziedly, directly aiming for Qin Wentian, exuding an incomparably fearsome aura. A law domain attack. The light flowing around Qin Wentian flowed into the devil saber in his hand. After that, he slashed out with his saber, executing the first stance of the devil saber. The gigantic cauldron was split apart from the center, but the devil might grew stronger and stronger. The law energy in Qin Wentian's body frenziedly flowed into the devil saber, as well as the law energy in the surroundings. MHM. Guyu frowned. The might of the devil saber seemed to be growing stronger. Slash. Qin Wentian spat out a single word as he slashed out a second time. This time, the saber directly traversed through space. The devil saber slashed out as destructive arcs appeared in the air. Guyu's surroundings were filled with golden light as numerous gigantic cauldrons enveloped him, seemingly indestructible. Bang! A thunderous sound rang out as the saber shattered. Guyu's defenses also crumbled apart. His eyes flashed with coldness. Although this saber strike was powerful, it only managed to break through his defenses. But at this moment, Qin Wentian stabbed out with a finger as another illusory saber manifested, infusing even more terrifying law energy into it. Careful! Paragon Golden Cauldron reminded. Guyu's expression turned heavy as boundless law energy gathered around him. His body turned golden as he folded seals with his hands, manifesting a myriad of cauldrons that shot towards the devil saber. Around the devil saber, a myriad of saber shadows appeared, all of them cleaving down at the same time. The sky changed color as devil might churned wildly, clashing against the boundless golden light, causing the space to tremble and the cauldrons to shatter. The saber might continued on its way towards Guyu, but Guyu was already prepared. He punched out as a golden divine dragon manifested in the air. Qin Wentian's expression didn't change at all. He pointed his finger in the air once more as a saber manifested. This was the fourth saber strike, but it wasn't as large as the previous one. However, the devil might within it was even stronger than before. Die! Qin Wentian pointed his finger in the air as the devil saber transformed into a black stream of light, slashing towards Guyu once more. Guyu's expression grew heavy as he stared at the devil saber slashing down. This saber became smaller but it seemed to be even faster. Boom! A bolt of black lightning directly shot over. At this instant, Guyu only felt his soul shuddering as his body trembled. In his eyes, the devil saber seemed to have split apart as numerous beams of saber light shot out, he couldn't see where it was aiming at. Guyu! Paragon Golden Cauldron roared, his voice akin to a thunderbolt from the clear skies. Guyu's heart trembled violently as he reacted. He only saw the devil saber expanding in size in his eyes, but it was already too late. Puchi! As the saber slashed down, a black line appeared on Guyu's forehead, extending downwards. In the next instant, a thunderous boom rang out as Guyu's body directly exploded, destroyed by the tyrannical devil might of the saber. Paragon Golden Cauldron's palm descended, but he was still a step too late. His movements stiffened as his countenance turned ashen. What a bizarre devil saber innate technique. The true killing move of this saber art was in the fourth stance. This saber art was specially made for Qin Wentian by that old freak, the soul-severing devil saber. Chapter 1382. Immortal King Guyu of the Immortal Qianbian Gate died in battle. Paragon Golden Cauldron's countenance turned ashen, a sharp aura gushed forth from him, causing the vast space to tremble violently. Guyu was a disciple he had high hopes for. Guyu had obtained his true inheritance, his cultivation base was extremely high and his talent was exceedingly high. There was a chance for Guyu to reach his level. However, Guyu actually died in the midst of a battle. Under the fourth saber strike, Guyu didn't even have a chance to flee. From this, one could see that this saber strike wasn't something Guyu could block. Do you want to continue or not? He will still be the one to fight. You guys can choose any initial stage Immortal King to fight. Even before Paragon Golden Cauldron was enraged, the Kirin-masked Immortal King spoke. Paragon Golden Cauldron's expression turned extremely unsightly to behold. Guyu didn't even have a chance to flee from this devil-masked Immortal King. From this, one could see how strong this opponent was. If it was someone else, they would definitely not be able to win against him. Since they couldn't win, Paragon Golden Cauldron wouldn't be so foolish as to send someone else to fight. Boom! Paragon Golden Cauldron suddenly acted. In an instant, at the location where Qin Wentian was at, a gigantic golden palm imprint appeared in the air, directly grabbing towards Qin Wentian. This golden palm imprint flowed with terrifying law energy, capable of destroying everything. It grabbed towards Qin Wentian with inconceivable speed. Almost at the same time, a fist light shot out from behind Qin Wentian. This fist light contained a roar of rage, shaking the heavens and earth as it directly slammed into the center of the gigantic palm imprint. A muffled boom rang out, followed by the sound of shattering. Cracks appeared on the surface of the gigantic palm imprint before it crumbled into nothingness. A paragon of the Dongshengshan Gate. A mocking smile appeared in Qin Wentian's eyes. After that, he turned and departed in an incomparably carefree manner. The people of the Immortal Qianbian Gate were all stunned. That ape-masked Immortal King actually broke apart Paragon Golden Cauldron's attack with a single punch. Although it was just a casual strike, one could still see how strong this opponent was. The Dongshengshan Gate's army is here. There are so many Immortal Kings here, but there's actually no one who dares to fight. How disappointing. Since this is the case, we will bid our farewell. That Kirin-masked Immortal King spoke. After that, the group of them turned and departed. You think you can leave so easily just because you came? Paragon Golden Cauldron coldly laughed. This was a war and not a one-on-one challenge. As long as it wasn't an Immortal Emperor against an Immortal King, or an Immortal King against an Immortal Foundation expert, it wouldn't be considered a violation of the rules of the Immortal War. The other party didn't bother to reply and directly departed. It was as though this place where the troops of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect were stationed was an uninhabited place. Attack! Paragon Golden Cauldron coldly roared. A moment later, the entire space was enveloped by his might as rumbling sounds rang out. The bodies of Paragon Golden Cauldron and the other peak stage Immortal Kings grew incomparably gigantic as they launched attacks towards the fleeing figures. Several peak stage Immortal Kings unleashed their attacks at the same time, causing this entire space to crumble. However, at this moment, several masked Immortal Kings turned and blasted out their attacks. A gigantic palm imprint blocked the sky as a sword pierced through the air, manifesting a gigantic phantom of a gigantic beast, wanting to crush everything. Rumble. A thunderous rumbling sound rang out in the air, causing the Immortal Foundation soldiers below to directly lie flat on their stomachs. They only felt their eardrums about to rupture, and there were some weaker ones who even bled from the 7 apertures of their heads. Paragon Golden Cauldron frowned. He glanced at the chaos in the city as his expression grew unsightly. They were the ones who took the initiative to attack. The other party didn't take the initiative to kill their Immortal Foundation experts. In addition, there were many peak stage Immortal Kings among this group of people. Those masked Immortal Kings coldly laughed. After that, they left one after another. Some Immortal Kings chased after them, but Paragon Golden Cauldron spoke, "There's no need to chase anymore." As the sound of his voice faded, many people halted as their expressions turned unsightly. Were they going to allow these people to leave just like that? After killing the beloved disciple of a paragon, there were even Immortal Foundation experts who were killed by the aftershocks, yet these people actually left so casually. Paragon. Someone stared at Paragon Golden Cauldron, his eyes filled with reluctance. They gathered many peak-stage immortal kings. It's useless to chase after them. Paragon Golden Cauldron coldly spoke. Gathering all their forces together to harass them. The expressions of everyone froze. Many peak-stage immortal kings. If this was the case, it would be extremely difficult to chase after them. It was almost impossible. Their Eastern Sage Immortal sect was split into 4 different armies, and their strength was more or less equal. Although the Eastern Sage Immortal sect had nurtured many immortal kings, the number of peak-stage immortal kings they had wasn't too many. These were all characters that were close to the Immortal Emperor realm. How hateful. Paragon, when are we going to advance into the battlefield and surround the Cloud Prefecture city? An immortal king asked. Soon, the Dongshengshan Gate's forces are all gathered here. Just a few more people and we can attack. As long as the Cloud Prefecture city is surrounded, it wouldn't be so easy for the people of the Immortal Qianbian Gate to retreat. Paragon Golden Cauldron's expression was ice-cold, exuding a powerful killing intent. The Immortal Qianbian Gate wasn't far away from its doomsday. Very soon, the Immortal Qianbian Gate who seized the territory of the Dongshengshan Gate would face a calamity. In that case, let's just wait and hope that this day would come sooner. The immortal kings all had cold gleams in their eyes. This time around, the Immortal Qianbian Gate actually directly challenged them, killing one of their immortal kings and retreating safely. This was simply disregarding them. This was a humiliation. Let's wait and see. Paragon Golden Cauldron coldly spoke. After Qin Wentian and his group left, they didn't directly return to the Cloud Prefecture city. Instead, they headed towards the other army camp of the Dongshengshan Gate. This army camp was under the control of an immortal emperor, one of the 4 paragons under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, Paragon Sky Rock. Right now, Paragon Sky Rock was already an immortal emperor expert. Out of the 4 paragons under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, 3 of them were characters who fought alongside the Dongxing Heaven Emperor countless years ago. They were like brothers and had a very close relationship. Even when it came to matters of the immortal sect, they rarely interfered and would often go out to temper themselves. Right now, there were already 2 immortal emperors among them. Other than Paragon Sky Rock, there was another immortal emperor. This immortal emperor was the one the White Emperor met back then at the Dongshengshan Gate. When Qin Wentian arrived, everyone introduced the situation of the 4 paragons to him. Speaking of which, he had some connection with Paragon Sky Rock. Back then during the 100-year grand banquet of the Eastern Sage Immortal Sect, he had obtained a rune bone of a sky rock and that rune bone belonged to the Mount of Paragon Sky Rock. He didn't expect that one of the 4 paragons, Paragon Sky Rock, was actually an immortal emperor expert. This time around, when facing the immortal emperor army, the 4 of them were even more flamboyant. They descended from the air and crushed the city gates. Every step they took caused the buildings to crumble and the ground to crumble, exuding a majestic aura. And on the other side, an army of immortal kings had arrived, waiting in formation. With an immortal emperor like Paragon Sky Rock here, these people naturally knew of their arrival. The Immortal Qianbian Gate pays our respects to Paragon Sky Rock. Everyone spoke in a clear voice, as though they didn't care about Paragon Sky Rock. Although this army was led by an immortal emperor, immortal emperors couldn't interfere and deal with them. If not, they would all die together. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor and the other immortal emperors would kill the people of the Immortal Qianbian Gate, while the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya would kill the people of the other side. Usually, no one would dare to defy the rules of the immortal war. Bzz. A raging wind gusted by as a sky rock soared through the air. On the back of the rock, a black-robed figure resembling a supreme king stood there proudly. His eyes were filled with arrogance, as cold as ice. We pay our respects to Paragon Sky Rock. Although the people of the Immortal Qianbian Gate came here in a high-profile manner, they were still very polite. Paragon Sky Rock didn't say anything, he merely stared at them coldly. Today, I came here because I wish to challenge the immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate. I wonder if Senior is willing to accept my challenge. The Kirin masked man smiled, his attitude was the same as that of Paragon Golden Cauldron. If you want to fight, I will accompany you. Paragon Sky Rock's voice was filled with arrogance. He was one of the 4 ancient paragons and was also an immortal emperor expert. He naturally had to protect the pride of the Dongshengshan Gate. Since the immortal Qinbian Gate came here to challenge him, how could he not accept it? Qin Wentian walked out again and released his aura. Junior is an initial stage immortal king. Please guide me. Who is willing to fight? Paragon Sky Rock spoke. At this moment, an initial stage late stage immortal king stepped out. This person radiated coldness, causing the temperature of the surroundings to plunge. He stared at Qin Wentian with a gaze so cold that it felt as though it could freeze people. I'm willing to fight. That person spoke. Please. Qin Wentian laughed. Boundless devil might gushed forth as a devil saber appeared in his hand. Boundless destructive law energy converged on him. Freeze. Only to see that at this moment, the voice of the other party rang out. Crackling sounds rang out unceasingly as the entire space around them froze over. Even Qin Wentian himself was frozen within the ice, transforming into an ice sculpture. Boom! The destructive energy from Qin Wentian frenziedly erupted forth, shattering the ice around him. However, the ice around him actually transformed into a tempest as terrifying ice spears shot out, shooting towards Qin Wentian with lightning speed. Qin Wentian's body transformed into a series of afterimages, moving with extreme speed. His saber slashed out unceasingly, destroying the ice spears. Wherever his saber slashed out, the ice would crumble as he continued to rush out. And just at the instant he rushed out of the ice statue, the other party pointed a finger in the direction he flew out from. Numerous waves of ripples gushed forth, resembling icy water. When the ripples came into contact with Qin Wentian's devil saber, the saber actually began to corrode away bit by bit. After that, the entire ice statue turned into corrosive water that gushed towards Qin Wentian. The law energy of the other party was able to corrode other law energies. Boom! Qin Wentian's body glowed with an incomparably terrifying divine light, as though it was condensed from all sorts of law energy. He lifted his finger and pointed it at the other party. Destructive devil might tore through everything, directly clashing head-on with the other party. His arm penetrated through the corrosive water, and his body of laws was also being corroded bit by bit. However, this finger of his seemed to be filled with the determination to kill, not hesitating to injure both sides. The other party frowned, evidently unwilling to go all out. He retreated, but at such a close distance, Qin Wentian's attack speed was extremely fast. With an explosive sound, the other party's body of laws shattered. The destructive energy directly ravaged the other party's body, causing him to scream in pain. Qin Wentian himself retreated, his body seemed to be corroded as well as a look of shock appeared on his face. This fellow is even more sinister. The people from the immortal Qinbian Gate stared at Qin Wentian and snickered. Was he purposely showing weakness? Chapter 1383. Paragon Sky Rock frowned, he seemed to have seen through something. At this moment, Qin Wentian continued, is the strength of the Dongshengshan Gate only at this level? They can't even withstand a single strike, too weak. Are there any stronger immortal kings for me to kill? They had some understanding of Qin Wentian's combat prowess. An attack of such a level shouldn't be able to injure him. Also, this attack of his definitely had the ability to kill the immortal king of the Dongshengshan Gate. However, Qin Wentian didn't do so and intentionally acted weak, crippling his opponent while pretending to be heavily injured. In addition, there was also a terrifying gravitational force pressing down on this space. Qin Wentian replied. He who was wearing a mask took a step forward and spoke, "Continue to seek guidance. You can change your opponent now." Boom! Qin Wentian's body grew incomparably gigantic, transforming into a giant. A dazzling light circulated around him as a terrifying destructive devil domain manifested. Numerous palm imprints appeared as he lifted his palms and blasted out towards the incoming attack, causing the entire space to rumble. The people of the Immortal Qianbian Gate started. Seems like Paragon Sky Rock was also incomparably confident. Is Wang Yu going to fight? The hearts of everyone trembled. If this was the case, there wouldn't be any problems. Qin Wentian soared up into the air. Wang Yu also followed after him. Paragon Sky Rock coldly spoke, "Since we have agreed on a life-and-death battle, don't think about interfering. All of you just stay here. Who wants to fight?" Paragon Sky Rock coldly spoke. A moment later, another immortal king stepped out. Qin Wentian's eyes gleamed with sharpness. "Master?" Seeing the look in the eyes of the people from Dongshengshan Gate, Qin Wentian took another look at Wang Yu, who was walking over. It seemed that Dongshengshan Gate was very confident in this person. Presumably, this person's combat ability was amazing. Someone who held a high position in Dongshengshan Gate and was not a disciple of Supreme Tianpeng, it must have something to do with Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. Since that was the case, there was no way Qin Wentian would let the other party live. That was why he made the request to kill the other party. Roar! Wang Yu let out a thunderous roar. The countless meteors around his gigantic body smashed towards the sky. However, loud banging sounds rang out continuously as everything was shattered. In an instant, the gigantic palm that could shatter everything came crashing down, bringing with it an unparalleled might. Feeling the pressure, Qin Wentian secretly praised. He was indeed worthy of being the personal disciple of Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. His previous opponents could not be compared to him. Boom! That immortal King Law domain erupted forth, instantly engulfing the entire space. Qin Wentian was faintly being suppressed, unable to unleash the tyrannical might of his saber to its fullest. The masked immortal kings from the Immortal Qianbian Gate were all suppressing their laughter. Too sinister, this fellow suddenly acted in such a high-profile manner, wanting to infuriate the Dongshengshan Gate and force them to fight. Qin Wentian stepped out, using his devil saber to defend against the sword techniques of his opponent. The two of them fought intensely, seemingly equally matched. Each of their attacks was extremely dangerous, suppressing the might of immortal kings into a small space. From this, one could very well imagine how terrifying this was. Wang Yu. Paragon Sky Rock stepped out, but at the same time, a white-robed figure with a Kirin mask appeared before him. A terrifying might gushed forth, blocking his path of retreat. Die die die! The Driftcloud Immortal King roared. His killing intent towered up into the sky as 3 beams of sword might shot out, wanting to annihilate everything. However, Qin Wentian lifted his hand and pointed out with a finger. Rumbling bolts of lightning descended, manifesting a blood-red devil might that shattered the sword chi. At the same time, the devil saber appeared once more, transforming into a black-colored bolt of lightning. At this instant, the soul of the Driftcloud Immortal King trembled. After that, the black-colored bolt of lightning flashed past, causing the entire space to freeze as the tempest dissipated. Qin Wentian, who suddenly became arrogant, instantly incited the rage of the immortal kings from the Dongshengshan Gate. He merely won by a hair's breadth, yet he dared to be so arrogant. What did he mean by he couldn't even withstand a single strike? Too weak. Simply impudent. Wang Yu and Qin Wentian stopped in the air. Their cold and arrogant gazes stared at Qin Wentian. Wang Yu spoke. Back then, the Emperor Qianbian used dishonorable methods to forcefully seize the 6 prefectures. Ultimately, he has to pay the price for his actions. I've followed my master for many years, but I've yet to make any contributions. Today, I will use your life to repay the kindness my master has shown me. Sure. Wang Yu couldn't have asked for more. He didn't expect that the other party would take the initiative to make such a request. The strength of this Wang Yu was truly very powerful. Rumble, numerous heavy and gigantic meteors directly descended from the air, smashing towards Qin Wentian. The speed of the meteors was as fast as shooting stars, accompanied by thunderous rumbling sounds as blazing flames radiated from them. In addition to the incomparably heavy gravity, it was basically impossible for the people in this domain to evade. They could only endure it head-on. What was even more terrifying was that countless devil palm imprints of destruction converged in the domain, blotting out the sun. A boundless palm of darkness manifested in the air, blocking out the sky and the earth. Can you continue? The immortal king of the immortal Qianbian Gate intentionally asked. Although Paragon Sky Rock was an immortal emperor character, Qin Wentian himself had chosen to endure it. Hence, he had no way to know how powerful Qin Wentian was exactly. However, his expression was extremely unsightly to behold. He was still very confident in Wang Yu's strength. Wang Yu was the personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. His strength far surpassed the Drift Cloud Immortal King. Kill. At this moment, Qin Wentian coldly spoke. That gigantic palm imprint slammed down from the air as boundless runes revolved around it, radiating destructive light that destroyed everything. Disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor? Qin Wentian asked. Who the hell do you think you are? You want to help me? Qin Wentian didn't change at all. He coldly spoke, if you have the guts, let's fight to the death. No one is allowed to flee. Only when one side dies would the battle end. How about it? Emichem? Wang Yu inclined his head as his expression changed. Since you agree, please go ahead. Qin Wentian soared up into the air. He guessed that this man must be an extremely important character. When he walked out, the expressions of the immortal kings all changed. It was like they were certain that this man would be able to kill him. Also, this initial stage immortal king had a look of arrogance in his eyes. When the people in the surroundings looked at him, there was also some respect in their eyes. From this, one could see that this man had a very high status. Qin Wentian naturally wasn't afraid. He was agitated, he didn't expect that he would encounter a personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. His luck was simply too good. Since this was the case, there was no need for him to be polite anymore. However, although the immortal kings of the Dongxing Gate were enraged, they still maintained their rationality. The Drift Cloud Immortal King could already be considered an extremely powerful immortal king. Among initial stage immortal kings, his combat prowess could be considered extremely high. But even so, he still died in battle. For those weaker than the Drift Cloud Immortal King, they naturally wouldn't rush out to fight against Qin Wentian. Bang! Another shocking collision rang out. Saber and sword collided, both crumbling apart. The Drift Cloud Immortal King once again gathered his supreme sword might. Qin Wentian's devil might churned intensely as he roared unceasingly. A towering devil might circulated around Qin Wentian, causing the heavens and earth to rumble. The destructive devil might and demonic law energy fused together. Qin Wentian lifted his palm and blasted out a palm strike. An incomparably thunderous roar shook the heavens and earth as a gigantic devil dragon of darkness actually manifested, rushing towards the incoming meteor. Since you are courting death, I shall grant you your wish. Wang Yu stared at Qin Wentian. The immortal kings of the Dongxing Gate started as well. Many of them coldly laughed but they didn't say anything. They also didn't expose Wang Yu's identity. Since this fellow is seeking death, they might as well not affect him. Senior, just say it. The immortal kings of the immortal Qianbian Gate nodded. They didn't move, they merely inclined their heads and stared at the sky. Bang, bang, bang. A heaven-shaking collision occurred in the air as shattered rocks flew in all directions. Wang Yu let out a thunderous roar as his body expanded to an incomparably gigantic size. Flames and meteors revolved around him as the gravity around him caused the entire space to collapse. He punched out with his fist, aiming for Qin Wentian, wanting to destroy the heavens and earth. He wanted to kill Qin Wentian with his strongest attack. Chapter 1384. Paragon Sky Rock stared at the Kirin-masked white-robed figure. His emperor might gushed forth as he coldly spoke, by Wuya. The person before him was radiating emperor might. There were only two immortal emperors in the immortal Qianbian gate. One was the Emperor Qianbian and the other was the former white-robed immortal king, Bai Wuya. Hence, when he sensed the emperor might, he instantly guessed that this person was none other than Bai Wuya. The Emperor Qianbian's opponent was the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. He wouldn't come here. Paragon Sky Rock, don't forget the rules. The Kirin mask broke apart, revealing Bai Wuya's silhouette. He was still as young as ever, like a white-robed scholar. You actually came here to challenge us while hiding among the immortal kings? Paragon Sky Rock coldly spoke. I didn't act, that means I didn't break the rules. Aren't you leading an army as well? What's the difference between us? Bai Wuya calmly spoke. The expressions of the immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate all turned ugly. They didn't expect Bai Wuya to personally come here. No wonder these people were so daring to come here to challenge them. The other immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate wanted to head to the air, but they only heard Bai Wuya coldly speaking. Both sides agreed to a life-and-death battle. No one is to interfere. Whoever breaks the rules will be killed. As the sound of his voice rang out, the immortal kings all halted their steps as their expressions turned ashen. Before this, both sides did indeed have an agreement to not interfere. Bai Wuya's words were right. Before this, everyone felt that Wang Yu would win for sure. It was just that they didn't expect Wang Yu to be so powerful. Inclining their heads and staring at the sky, thunderous rumbling sounds could be heard as an emperor might gushed forth. This was the immortal sense of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor appearing. Your Majesty. Everyone turned to Dongxing Heaven Emperor only to see his immortal sense staring at the masked Qin Wentian as he coldly spoke, impudent. Dongxing Heaven Emperor, you are not to interfere in a battle between immortal kings. Bai Wuya stared at Dongxing Heaven Emperor as he spoke. Bai Wuya, Wang Yu is my disciple. Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke. Both sides are fighting an immortal war. Since the participants have already come to the battlefield, why is there a need to ask about status? In addition, he has already agreed to a life-and-death battle with my people. Paragon Sky Rock has already agreed and the experts of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect have all nodded their heads as witnesses. If Senior Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor breaks the rules and interferes, don't blame Bai Wuya for offending you. Wang Yu can be spared this time and I, Qin Dongxing Heaven Emperor, I Qin King Shao, King, I King. Pardon me. Bai Wuya coldly spoke. His eyes abruptly gleamed with starlight as a killing intent seeped into Dongxing Heaven Emperor's immortal sense. Bai Wuya, how dare you? Dongxing Heaven Emperor's immortal sense coldly roared. Senior Eastern Sage should understand the rules of the battlefield. Bai Wuya coldly snorted, incomparably emotionless. The immortal sense of Dongxing Heaven Emperor was directly erased. The experts of the Dongshengshan Gate all stared coldly at Bai Wuya. This fellow was simply too impudent, he actually dared to act against the immortal sense of Dongxing Heaven Emperor. The battle shall continue. Bai Wuya calmly spoke. Although he was an initial stage immortal emperor, he had already broken through to the immortal emperor realm. How could the immortal sense of Dongxing Heaven Emperor be able to compare to him? Qin Wentian's expression was cold. Although Bai Wuya said that the battle shall continue, there was no longer a need to fight anymore. Earlier, he had already heavily injured Wang Yu, causing Wang Yu to lose his combat prowess. If not, Dongxing Heaven Emperor's immortal sense would have already saved Wang Yu's life. If not, Wang Yu would have already died. How could this battle still be considered a battle? At this moment, how could Wang Yu still be arrogant? When he saw Qin Wentian walking over, his eyes were filled with despair. "Spare me!" Wang Yu begged. Puchi. A devil's saber slashed out, directly killing Wang Yu, showing no mercy. Qin Wentian's expression was incomparably cold. This time around, another personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor was killed by him. Most probably, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor would feel some heartache. This personal disciple was someone at the peak stage of the Immortal King realm and had extremely powerful combat prowess. It was just that the Dongxing Heaven Emperor still didn't know that the person who killed his personal disciple was none other than him, Qin Wentian. "Kill him!" Paragon Sky Rock commanded. His eyes were extremely cold. Since the battle between Qin Wentian and Wang Yu had ended, they could surround and kill Qin Wentian. However, the immortal kings of the Immortal Qianbian Gate were already prepared. After the battle ended, they instantly appeared beside Qin Wentian. Qi Yu, who was wearing a demon ape mask, slammed his palms downwards as a gigantic divine ape appeared, letting out a thunderous roar. A palm imprint appeared in the shadow, shaking the heavens and earth, capable of destroying everything. Those below the peak stage of the Immortal King realm instantly halted their steps and retreated. This attack was too violent, they couldn't withstand it. Only peak stage Immortal Kings would be able to defend against it. "Go!" Bai Wuya calmly spoke. Several powerful peak stage Immortal Kings unleashed their attacks at the same time. After that, they soared up into the air, moving with the speed of lightning. "Stop them!" Paragon Sky Rock roared in rage. Terrifying law domains enveloped the area. There was an extremely tyrannical gravity law domain, as well as a fearsome devouring law domain. However, one of the immortal kings of the Immortal Qianbian Gate unleashed a miraculous law domain, enveloping everyone from the Immortal Qianbian Gate. In an instant, all laws and domains were useless against him. At the same time, there were also experts proficient in the law of wind who brought the immortal kings away with great speed. Law immunity. Paragon Sky Rock had an unsightly expression on his face. The speed of peak stage immortal kings was incomparably fast, let alone when there were so many of them. Only peak stage immortal kings could barely catch up to them. Bai Wuya laughed, "Paragon Sky Rock, farewell." As he spoke, he soared up into the air as his white robes vanished. Several peak stage immortal kings of the Dongxing Gate chased for a moment before they stopped. They stared at Qin Wentian's silhouette as they let out roars of unwillingness. Immortal Qianbian Gate. They clenched their fists as their killing intent surged, causing this entire space to tremble. "Come back." Paragon Sky Rock's voice drifted over. "Inform the other three armies to pay attention to this challenger. Don't fall for his tricks again." At this moment, how could they still not understand that Qin Wentian intentionally hid his strength for the first battle? It was the same for the second battle, but he suddenly grew arrogant. Hence, there was the third battle and Wang Yu's death. This not only caused the Dongxing Gate to suffer heavy losses, it also caused them to lose a lot of face. In this immortal war, they had the absolute initiative and had already surrounded the Cloud Prefecture. Yet, they actually lost so much face here. His Majesty's personal disciple was killed. How would they explain this to him? Paragon Sky Rock's expression turned heavy. He stared at Wang Yu's corpse as he coldly asked, "Who knows who killed Wang Yu earlier?" Wang Yu was the personal disciple of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, but he was killed in public. In the future, they had to kill that person to avenge Wang Yu and give His Majesty an explanation. Before this, I've never heard of anyone from the Immortal Qianbian Gate who is proficient in devil energy. Only during the adjudication battle did Qin Wentian and his group of people enter the myriad devil islands. Could it be Qin Wentian or one of those people? An immortal king who had some understanding of the adjudication battle asked. Impossible. How many years has it been since the adjudication battle ended? How many years has Qin Wentian cultivated for? Although he has already stepped into the 9th level of Immortal Foundation before the adjudication battle ended, how can it be so easy to break through to the Immortal King realm? In addition, even if he really stepped into the Immortal King realm, it's impossible for him to have such combat prowess. Although the Battle Saint tribe was one of them, the Heavenly Talisman realm had its own rules. Junior brother Qin is truly impressive and crafty. Why are all of you so excited? What interesting thing happened exactly? The immortal kings who didn't go to the Immortal Qianbian Gate came up and laughed. When everyone recounted what happened, everyone started laughing as their gazes shone with a bright light when they stared at Qin Wentian. This junior brother of theirs was truly impressive, causing the Dongshengshan Gate to suffer a loss in silence. The battle results this time around can be considered not bad. Relying on junior brother Qin alone, you killed 3 immortal kings and crippled 1. One of them was even a personal disciple of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect. Bai Wuya nodded. If it wasn't for the support of all senior brothers, how could things be so smooth? Qin Wentian shook his head. Your own strength is of utmost importance. Bai Wuya spoke. However, you have to be even more careful from now on. The Dongshengshan Gate will most probably keep an eye on you. Next time, change your mask. Also, the Dongshengshan Gate might make a move soon. Everyone, prepare yourselves. Everyone nodded. This battle was merely a warm-up. The battles at the back were the true challenges. Chapter 1385. Just like what Bai Wuya had predicted, very soon, the Dongshengshan Gate made a move. The scouts came to report that the 4 armies of the Dongshengshan Gate were advancing towards the Cloud Prefecture. Many people in the Cloud Prefecture breathed a sigh of relief. Those who had the ability to leave had already left. The ones who stayed were relatively ordinary cultivators who could not cross the vast territory of the Cloud Prefecture. Now, the 4 armies marched through the sky, heading straight for the Cloud Prefecture city. In this case, the main battlefield would probably erupt within the borders of the Cloud Prefecture city. The flames of war would not spread too far. However, they were still somewhat nervous. Who knew if there would be immortal kings suddenly appearing in the air above them? Immortal kings could easily traverse across vast distances. If this battle went out of control, there might still be other battles taking place in different locations of the Cloud Prefecture. When the 4 armies of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect set off, the major powers of the eastern regions immediately received the news. They had been paying attention to this battle, and in fact, there were already many experts from the eastern regions who had already arrived at the Cloud Prefecture. They were mixed in with the crowd and nobody knew about this. In fact, there were even some major powers outside the eastern regions who were paying attention to this battle. From a certain perspective, the battle between the Dongshengshan Gate and the Immortal Qianbian Gate was a continuation of the Emperor-ranked war that happened in the Evergreen Kingdom. If there wasn't that Emperor-ranked war, the final battle between these 2 powers wouldn't have erupted so early. With the 4 armies advancing at the same time, it was impossible for the Immortal Qianbian Gate to attack a single power. If they did so, the other 3 armies might directly attack the Immortal Qianbian Gate. Hence, the Immortal Qianbian Gate had no way to stop the advance of the Dongshengshan Gate. They could only allow the Dongshengshan Gate to advance to the outskirts of the Cloud Prefecture. The 4 armies advanced at the same time, arriving at the outskirts of the Cloud Prefecture almost at the same time. They appeared in the 4 directions of the Cloud Prefecture and directly locked down the entire city. The people of the Cloud Prefecture were shocked. Those who didn't leave felt uneasy. They did not expect the Dongshengshan Gate to be surrounded. Were they going to wipe out the Immortal Qianbian Gate in one fell swoop? The situation suddenly tensed up, a great battle was about to erupt at any moment. Almost everyone in the Cloud Prefecture city was fleeing, preparing to temporarily leave. Only immortal kings dared to remain in the city. Some immortal kings wanted to spectate this world-shaking battle. A battle between two great immortal sects was an opportunity that did not come by often. It was a once-in-a-blue-moon opportunity. Hence, some of the neutral immortal kings even felt somewhat excited. The immortal Qinbian Gate acted as though they were facing a great enemy. Once, they gathered countless experts from the 6 prefectures, but nobody bothered with them. Many of them chose to flee. Why would they participate in such a battle for the sake of the immortal Qinbian Gate? They were merely immortal kings who were in charge of a region, they weren't from the immortal Qinbian Gate. When the immortal Qinbian Gate was in charge of a region, they would listen to the orders given by the immortal Qinbian Gate. But now that the war was about to break out, who would care about the immortal Qinbian Gate? Of course, there were also some people who were incorporated by the immortal Qinbian Gate. Unfortunately, the time that the immortal Qinbian Gate had ruled these 6 provinces was too short, so they did not have much influence. If they had 10,000 years or even longer, the whole 6 provinces would truly belong to the immortal Qinbian Gate. In this regard, the Dongshengshan Gate obviously did a better job. Therefore, in terms of the number of immortal kings, they had an absolute advantage and could crush the immortal Qinbian Gate. At this moment, the same voice resounded throughout the entire Cloud Prefecture city. Within 3 days, evacuate the Cloud Prefecture city and the Dongshengshan Gate will be opened. 3 days later, the Dongshengshan Gate will be sealed. As this news circulated out, the entire Cloud Prefecture city was shaken. Some of the Immortal Foundation experts who were still hesitating also hurriedly left the Cloud Prefecture city, not daring to delay at all. Those who stayed behind were either immortal kings who wanted to spectate the battle or those weaker characters who had no way to leave. These people were the most nervous and uneasy. In the immortal Qinbian Gate, numerous immortal palaces were filled with experts, all of them heading towards a single location. Outside the immortal Qinbian Gate, there was an army of Immortal Foundation experts. However, everyone understood that in a battle between Immortal Foundation experts, there was no suspense at all. The Dongshengshan Gate would definitely crush the immortal Qinbian Gate. Back then when they fought against the Eastern Sage Immortal sect, they had to rely on the manpower they gathered from the 6 prefectures and even hired many Immortal Foundation experts to participate in the war. But now, after being swept away by the Eastern Sage Immortal sect, the armies of the 5 prefectures either scattered or fled. The vast majority of these armies were from the Cloud Prefecture. They basically had no way to block the foundation of the Eastern Sage Immortal sect that had governed the 13 prefectures for countless years. Hence, everyone knew that in reality, the outcome of this battle still depended on the immortal kings. The immortal kings of the immortal Qinbian Gate gathered at the public square in front of the Emperor Palace of Qinbian. The immortal kings gathered here represented the entire strength of the immortal Qinbian Gate. The Emperor Qinbian walked over, standing on the platform as he swept his gaze over the immortal kings gathered here. I'm very proud that everyone can come here to fight for the immortal Qinbian Gate. The immortal Qinbian Gate has only been established for a short period of time and we have yet to nurture any immortal kings. Everyone here are either those who followed me in the past or those who joined the immortal sects and powers of the 6 prefectures after that. The Emperor Qinbian continued, there's no need for me to say more about the dangers of immortal wars. Now that the Dongshengshan Gate has already been surrounded, there will definitely be casualties among us. If we are destined to lose this battle, I will give the order for everyone to retreat. But if we are victorious, I will take care of the families and clans of those who died. As for those who survive, I will reward them according to the battle merits I promised earlier. Even if you didn't manage to kill the immortal kings of the enemy and your battle merits are lower, I won't mistreat you. Next, I will fulfill my promise and allow you all to choose your immortal weapons first. The Emperor Qinbian waved his hand. In an instant, hundreds of immortal weapons floated in the air, causing everyone to be dazzled. This scene caused everyone to sigh in their hearts. As expected of an immortal emperor, his collection was truly bountiful. Many of the immortal weapons here were extremely powerful and were all high-grade immortal ranked weapons. For the sake of this immortal war, the Emperor Qianbian took out these immortal weapons and bestowed them to them. Choose an immortal weapon that is most suitable for you and refine it to familiarize yourself with it. We will make preparations for battle at any time. The Emperor Qianbian continued. Everyone nodded and chose the immortal ranked weapons that were most suitable for them. Many of them were extremely excited because the immortal weapons they obtained were stronger than any of the immortal weapons they had. The treasures of immortal emperors were truly extraordinary. This was the disparity between them. After everyone chose their immortal weapons, the Emperor Qianbian kept the remaining immortal weapons as he spoke. I still believe that the victory of this war will ultimately belong to us. Everyone, please return to your residences and make your preparations. The immortal kings bowed and departed. Very swiftly, only the Emperor Qianbian and Bai Wuya were left standing there. The Emperor Qianbian spoke, this time around, it won't be easy to deal with them. The Dongshengshan Gate already has an absolute advantage in terms of their own immortal kings and they even borrowed external help. A battle at the immortal king level isn't decided by the number of people. The true deciding factor is still the peak stage immortal king characters. Bai Wuya spoke in a low voice. There's naturally this logic. This is why I'm worried. Before this, the Dongshengshan Gate has been waiting and didn't advance to the Cloud Prefecture city. According to our insider news, they are waiting for people. In addition to the two paragons and the peak stage immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate, their lineup is already very strong. The Emperor Qianbian spoke. The people Wentian brought over are also very powerful. There are a few peak stage immortal kings among them. I feel that they should be able to contend against the two peak stage immortal kings under the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. Bai Wuya spoke in a light voice. The eyes of the Emperor Qianbian flashed. He naturally knew that there were experts following Qin Wentian but he didn't ask about it. But at this moment of life and death, he was certain that Qin Wentian would definitely allow those immortal kings to participate. Let's hope that Wentian's strength would be able to be of great use. The Emperor Qianbian nodded. Monarch, there's no need to worry too much. If immortal kings can't win, let's just initiate an emperor-ranked battle in advance. Bai Wuya's eyes gleamed sharply, causing the eyes of the Emperor Qianbian to gleam with sharpness as well. An emperor-ranked battle had great implications. Also, they all understood that this was a sensitive period in the eastern regions. If an emperor-ranked battle erupted, it might affect everything else. Hence, this was the final decisive battle. If not, they wouldn't have initiated an emperor-ranked battle. However, maybe everything can proceed according to the plan. Don't forget, we still have trump cards. Bai Wuya laughed. He exchanged a glance with the 1,000 Transformations Emperor Lord and nodded to each other. This war had already been planned since a very long time ago. From this point, it could be said that they had the advantage. Bai Wuya departed. The Emperor Qianbian turned his gaze towards the horizons. Victory or defeat would be determined by this battle. Would he be able to wash away the humiliation of losing to the Dongxing Heaven Emperor and unify the 13 prefectures? Or would he be able to flee with his tail between his legs again? For this battle, he had waited for far too many years. He had to win and settle a matter that was weighing on his heart. From there, he would be able to wholeheartedly pursue an even higher cultivation realm. 3 days later, it was unknown how many experts left the Cloud Prefecture city. This city, which used to be bustling with activity, was now exceptionally quiet. On the streets, there were no signs of humans at all. It was like a city of the dead. Finally, on this day, in the airspace above the Cloud Prefecture city, the wind and clouds howled as the sky changed color. A supreme might enveloped the entire area. This was the might of an emperor. In the air, an incomparably gigantic throne appeared. After that, the silhouette of a gigantic figure appeared. This figure was incomparably majestic, so large that it was inconceivable. His eyes were the size of a small city and he could destroy it with a single hand. He directly sat on the throne and stared at the Cloud Prefecture city with disdain. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor has arrived. The hearts of everyone trembled. This gigantic figure in the air was none other than the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. Not only that, this was his true self. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor was personally supervising this immortal war, directing this immortal war between the Dongshengshan Gate and the Immortal Qianbian Gate. A beam of light soared up into the air as lightning flashed. An incomparably dazzling silhouette appeared in the air, expanding in size to the same size as the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. He appeared in the air, staring down at the Cloud Prefecture city. This person was none other than the Emperor Qianbian. Chapter 1386. Two Immortal Emperors. Countless people inclined their heads and stared at the sky, feeling their hearts trembling. These two were immortal emperors, true hegemonic characters. With a wave of their hands, they could destroy a particle world. In the cities of the immortal realms. They were existences that stood at the peak of the immortal realms. It was rumored that back then during the 100-year grand banquet of the Dongshengshan Gate, the Emperor Qianbian appeared and the two of them fought to a draw. After that, the Emperor Qianbian forcefully seized 6 prefectures and the Dongxing Heaven Emperor had no way to defeat Qianbian. Emperor Qianbian compromised and agreed to the Emperor Qianbian to divide the 6 prefectures. This was the reason why the Immortal Qianbian Gate was formed. But everyone knew that this was only a temporary compromise. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor would definitely return and ruthlessly slap the Emperor Qianbian's face. Now, that day has finally arrived. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor appeared for the first time in the Emperor Qianbian's territory. Not only that, he did so in such a shocking manner. His army bore down on everything, wanting to destroy everything. Rumble. The earth in the Cloud Prefecture city rumbled as the 4 armies advanced from all directions. Everywhere they passed by, everything was raised to flat ground. The Dongshengshan Gate wanted to destroy the Cloud Prefecture city. This city was the shame of the Dongshengshan Gate. It would become part of the history of the Eastern Sage 13 prefectures. After this battle, the Cloud Prefecture city would no longer exist. This time around, the Eastern Sage Immortal sect had an army of over 100,000 immortals. How shocking was that? Their presence actually caused a resonance in the heavens and earth. Even from a very far distance away, the people in the 1,000 Transformations Immortal sect could already feel the majestic pressure. The troops of the 1,000 Transformations Immortal sect were all extremely nervous. This battle was truly a battle of life and death. Halt! At this time, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor opened his mouth. Instantly, the 4 armies stopped at a place far away from the Immortal Qianbian Gate. They did not continue moving forward. How about a game of chess? Dongxing Heaven Emperor looked at Emperor Qianbian and said. Since it's an invitation from an old friend, I will naturally accept it. The Emperor Qianbian smiled. The two of them were not angry at all. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor waved his hand as an incomparably gigantic chessboard appeared in the air between the two of them. You are the guest. After you, said the Emperor Qianbian, extending his hand. Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't stand on ceremony. He immediately placed his chess piece. His chess piece shone brilliantly and exuded a sharp intent. The Emperor of Qianbian smiled and placed a chess piece as well. His chess piece shone with a purple light, like a thunderbolt that could split everything in its path. Countless people below inclined their heads as their hearts trembled. 2 immortal emperors actually had the mood to play chess. The armies below were all waiting for them. The 2 of them placed their chess pieces respectively. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor placed his chess piece first as he spoke, "Let's fight." As the sound of his voice faded, from each of the 4 armies of the Dongshengshan Gate, an expert stepped out. A total of 4 people stepped out, and all of them were at the initial stage of the Immortal King realm. Soldiers come, generals block them. Let's fight. The Emperor of Qianbian also placed his chess piece. Below, within the Immortal Qianbian Gate, Bai Wuya spoke, the other side has 4 initial stage Immortal Kings. At the same cultivation level, who is willing to fight? I'm willing. I'll go. More and more people spoke. Qin Wentian's eyes flashed as he spoke, count me in. This time around, Qin Wentian had indeed changed into a mask. This mask exuded a unique aura, able to block out immortal senses, causing others to be unable to see his true appearance. Undoubtedly, among the people the Dongxing Heaven Emperor wanted to kill the most, he was one of them. Hence, it was better for him to keep a low profile and not be recognized. If not, during the final battle, he might be surrounded and killed by the Immortal Kings. The 4 of you, head to the 4 directions and fight. Bai Wuya waved his hand. A moment later, the 4 of them, including Qin Wentian, were enveloped by immortal might. They instantly understood that they were chosen. After that, they stepped out and headed to different directions, advancing forward. Although the army of the Dongshengshan Gate had already surrounded them, they actually stopped very far away, leaving behind a vast space in the middle. Everything was being directed by the Dongxing Heaven Emperor and the Immortal Qianbian Gate. The 2 of them seemed to be playing chess, but this was also a battle. Qin Wentian continued forward, only stopping when he encountered the Immortal King sent out by the other side. He didn't know what would happen to the other 3 battles, but since the Dongxing Heaven Emperor used such a method to announce the start of the battle, in that case, those who stood out to challenge him would surely all have extremely powerful combat prowess. Everyone knew this in their hearts. For this battle, he had to win and kill his opponents. The Immortal King before Qin Wentian was a middle-aged man with a long face. His eyes gleamed sinisterly as a dangerous aura radiated from him. Rumble. Abruptly, an intense light erupted forth from Qin Wentian. He stomped on the air as his silhouette vanished with the speed of lightning. In the air, numerous afterimages appeared. These afterimages resembled a heavenly rock, shuttling through the air, causing the wind to howl in their wake. The long-faced middle-aged Immortal King released his law domain. In just an instant, black fog appeared in the air as the silhouette of a giant python appeared, breathing out poisonous black fog, enveloping the rapidly moving afterimages within his law domain. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The power of God's hand gushed forth from Qin Wentian. The power of God's hand was capable of activating everything, including movement techniques. Hence, Qin Wentian's afterimages grew even more resplendent and his speed grew even faster. He was like a bolt of lightning arcing through the air. The terrifying black mist transformed into a giant python that frenziedly chased after him, yet it had no way to catch up to his movement technique. The long-faced Immortal King furrowed his brows. Qin Wentian's speed was actually so fast. Also, under the envelopment of his poisonous fog, Qin Wentian's body wasn't affected at all. From this, one could see how strong Qin Wentian's defense was. His immortal sense frenziedly gushed out, wanting to lock onto Qin Wentian. Hu Qi. The great rock silhouette shot over with lightning speed. Under the envelopment of his immortal sense, Qin Wentian was like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, he gathered a terrifying amount of energy. Numerous terrifying black dragon pythons appeared around him, breathing out black fog as they shot forward, wanting to devour Qin Wentian. Qi, Qi. Abruptly, a dazzling destructive sword might erupted forth. The immortal vanquishing sword might unleashed by God's hand could lacerate everything. In just an instant, that beam of sword light expanded outwards, radiating boundless light. The darkness dragon python was directly torn apart, even the poison chi was destroyed. The strongest beam of sword might directly blasted towards the body of the dragon python. Under the intense light, the long-faced Immortal King turned pale. He punched out with a demonic fist, but he basically couldn't block the supreme killing might of this sword. A beam of sword light directly penetrated through his body. That sinister body of his also glowed with a resplendent sword light at this moment. That resplendent light illuminated a face of despair. With a piercing sound, the body of the long-faced immortal king was directly torn apart. A single strike, a sure kill. Beautiful. On the side of the 1,000 Transformations Immortal sect, the immortal kings used their immortal senses to observe the battle. When they saw Qin Wentian's tyrannical attack, expressions of excitement could be seen on their faces. This battle was won beautifully. Qin Wentian was extremely calm. He turned and headed towards the camp of the immortal Qianbian Gate. Such a challenge was the most direct and also the most dangerous. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor and Emperor Qianbian were still playing chess, as though they didn't see the battle below. To them, this battle was merely the beginning. After that, the other 3 battles also concluded. The 1,000 Transformations Immortal sect won 1 battle, lost 1, and as for the last battle, the disparity in strength wasn't too great. However, the immortal Qianbian Gate won the battle and killed their opponent, while the Dongxing Gate only heavily injured their opponent. For the first round of combat, it was clear that the immortal Qianbian Gate had the advantage, killing 2 of their opponent's immortal kings. However, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor continued to push his chess piece forward as he calmly spoke, "Mid-stage immortal kings, come out." As the sound of his voice faded, a mid-stage immortal king walked out from each of the 4 directions, moving towards the direction of the immortal Qianbian Gate. Who is willing to accept the challenge? Before the Emperor Qianbian even spoke, Bai Wuya already commanded from below. There was no need to say the word "accept the challenge." Soldiers come with generals, soldiers come with generals. Similarly, 4 experts stepped out. 2 of them were original immortal kings of the immortal Qianbian Gate, while the other 2 were masked and came from the heavenly talisman realm. These 4 battles were also held in the center of the battlefield and were extremely intense. The final result was that both sides won 2 and lost 2, with 1 dead and 1 injured. The second round ended in a draw. Countless experts inclined their heads and stared at the sky. Early stage and mid-stage immortal kings had already stepped out. Next, it would be time for the peak stage immortal kings. Would the Dongxing Heaven Emperor allow people of this level to fight? This time around, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor didn't say anything. On the chessboard, a small-scale encirclement appeared, rampaging about tyrannically. "Heavenly Dipper Army, come out." The Dongxing Heaven Emperor spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, 36 immortal kings from each of the 4 armies stepped out. This time around, the entire immortal Qianbian Gate was shocked. Each of the 4 armies sent out 36 immortal kings, a total of 144 immortal kings. What a powerful formation, simply shocking. This was the foundation of the Dongxing Gate for countless years. They gathered many immortal king-level city lords and governors of the 13 prefectures back to the Dongxing Gate. On the chessboard, only now did the Emperor Qianbian discover that there were exactly 36 chess pieces from each of the 4 directions. They surrounded his chess pieces and this caused the immortal Qianbian Gate to furrow their brows. It wouldn't be easy for them to win this round. The 4 armies of the Dongxing Gate clearly didn't come with good intentions. Chapter 1387. Bai Wuya also furrowed his brows. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor wanted to use such a method to start the prelude to the immortal war. He must have come prepared. The cultivation bases of these 36 immortal kings were all different, but when they moved forward, they seemed to be in a formation. The Heavenly Dipper Army of the Dongxing Gate might be proficient in joint formations. Bai Wuya spoke in a low voice, his words causing everyone to be startled. Formations would undoubtedly be able to amplify one's attacks. A joint formation of 36 immortal kings, it was simply unimaginable how ferocious their attacks would be. If an unaffiliated immortal king were to face it head-on, those at the same cultivation level would only be slaughtered. Unless the cultivation base of the unaffiliated Immortal Kings was a level higher than the unaffiliated Immortal Kings, the unaffiliated Immortal Kings had to be extremely powerful. Saint Lord, we have also cultivated a joint formation. An expert from the Battle Saint tribe transmitted his voice to Qin Wentian, his words causing Qin Wentian's eyes to flash as he replied, "How many people do we have?" "We have formations for 9, 36, and 81 people. But this is a formation that belongs solely to our tribe. Hence, it's impossible for us to teach it to others." Qi Yu continued. "In that case, the 36 of you will form a formation and deal with one of the formations." Qin Wentian transmitted his voice. Although he could split the 36 of them into 4 9-man formations, the power of a 9-man formation would definitely be much weaker. If they were split into different battlefields, they wouldn't be able to guarantee absolute victory. In addition, it might even lead to the deaths of the experts from the Battle Saint tribe. Qin Wentian was the Saint Lord of the Battle Saint tribe. Since these people were willing to follow him out, he naturally had to be responsible for them. A 36-man formation would be able to guarantee absolute superiority over the other battle formations. "We can form a formation and deal with one of the formations." The masked Qi Yu spoke. The 36 Immortal Kings from the Battle Saint tribe were all wearing the same demonic ape masks. It was almost impossible to tell who was who. However, Qin Wentian didn't need others to be able to tell who was from the Battle Saint tribe. "Alright, you guys fight in that direction." Bai Wuya pointed to the east and said. The opponents in that direction had the highest cultivation and should be the most difficult to deal with. Bai Wuya was quite optimistic about the people brought by Qin Wentian. They should be able to win. At the same time, Bai Wuya continued to mobilize his troops, splitting them into 3 camps. Each camp had a leader and these leaders all had masks on. Clearly, they were people from the Heavenly Talisman realm. Bai Wuya's expression turned heavy. He saw that the 4 camps of the Battle Saint tribe had already started to form their battle formations. The Dongshengshan Gate had truly made ample preparations for this battle. Also, there might be other powers participating in this. A 36-man Immortal King formation was something that the Dongshengshan Gate might not be able to bring out. Very swiftly, the 36 Immortal Kings from the Battle Saint tribe clashed with the people in the east. There were a total of 36 Immortal Kings and they all stood in unique positions. They released their law domains and as the light flashed, the 36 of them seemed to have merged into one. The cultivation bases of the people from the Battle Saint tribe were all very similar. When the 36 of them stood together, their energy seemed to be resonating as a startling light radiated from them. A towering battle might engulf the heavens and earth, wanting to destroy everything. The battle formation of the Battle Saint tribe was the Azure Dragon battle formation. Its aura was incomparably vast, shaking the heavens and earth. The shadow of a true dragon appeared, wanting to tear this space apart. Boom, boom, boom. A fearsome might erupted forth. The Battle Saint tribe activated the Azure Dragon battle formation as boundless immortal law energy flowed into the shadow. A moment later, the Azure Dragon's shadow turned corporeal, floating in the air. Its head was incomparably majestic, its dragon claws gleamed with a cold light, and its scales gleamed with a cold light. Almost at the same time, an ancient ape appeared behind the experts of the Battle Saint tribe. The energy of these ancient apes congregated together, forming a divine ape that exuded boundless tyrannical battle might. It was none other than the Battle Saint tribe's Battle Saint tribe. In the other 3 locations of the Dongshengshan Gate, there was the Vermilion Bird battle formation. The entire sky and earth was dyed red as the boundless temperature melted everything in the world. That pair of incomparably sharp fiery wings flapped, sending waves of terrifying heat towards the experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate. There was the White Tiger battle formation. The war god White Tiger exuded a towering baleful aura, like an unexcelled king of slaughter. Its aura radiated an intense killing intent. There was also the Xuanwu battle formation. The Xuanwu divine turtle hovered in the air, resembling an unshakable gigantic castle. This battle formation was known as the Four Saints battle formation. The azure dragon, white tiger, vermilion bird, and Xuanwu each formed a formation, exuding boundless might. This was the sharpest weapon of the Dongshengshan Gate, capable of piercing through the heart of the immortal Qianbian Gate, destroying everything. The situation of the battle was also reflected on the chessboard in the air. In the four locations, the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's chessboard formed a formation, exuding boundless might. The Emperor Qianbian's chess pieces were as steady as ever. Facing the encirclement of the azure dragon, he used the most tyrannical stance, wanting to clash head-on with his opponent. Do you think you have a chance to break the formation? The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly laughed. In fact, he didn't even glance at the chessboard below him. He was completely focused on the chessboard, and as his chess piece landed in the center, the four formations activated at the same time. Being too full of yourself is a great taboo. The Emperor Qianbian laughed. Below, the azure dragon roared, lunging towards the experts of the Battle Saint tribe. Just a single roar was enough to kill immortal kings. However, the divine ape also roared in rage. Two powerful sound waves clashed in the air, causing the entire space to tremble violently. Facing the sharp claws of the azure dragon, the divine ape lifted its gigantic palm and blasted out. A thunderous boom rang out, causing the entire sky to tremble. Boundless holy battle light radiated from the bones of the divine ape, transforming into boundless battle might. Boom! A heaven-shaking sound of collision rang out as the azure dragon claw was directly shattered. The chess piece in the Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor's hand didn't land on the board. His eyes suddenly froze as he stared downwards as his countenance grew extremely unsightly to behold. Only to see that in the battle formation of the Battle Saint tribe, every single particle in the air contained a powerful battle aura. When the 36 of them attacked at the same time, beams of sacred light flashed as the heavens and earth rumbled. The might of the Battle Saint art manifested, wanting to destroy everything, directly blasting into the azure dragon. In an instant, the azure dragon crumbled unceasingly. The 36 experts that formed the azure dragon battle formation all groaned in pain. Roar! The divine ape let out a heaven-shaking roar, causing a few weaker immortal kings to cough out blood. After that, a terrifying gigantic palm descended from the sky. Those immortal kings turned ashen, there was basically no time for them to reform their formation. They hurriedly retreated, preparing to give up on the battle here and retreat. How ferocious was this palm imprint! In just an instant, over 10 immortal kings were destroyed. It was simply a complete suppression. Roar! Another heaven-shaking roar rang out. The divine ape stepped out, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. Both its palms blasted out in the air, causing the entire space to tremble. Those fleeing immortal kings felt their bodies trembling violently as their laws were thrown into chaos, as though they were being destroyed. After that, a gigantic palm that blotted out the sun extended outwards, grabbing towards the fleeing immortal kings. The expressions of the fleeing immortal kings were extremely unsightly to behold. They unleashed terrifying attacks, but without the amplification of the battle formation, how could they defend against such a fearsome attack? It was simply like an ant trying to shake a tree, they were directly destroyed. Even if they took out powerful immortal ranked weapons, it was useless. Several powerful immortal ranked weapons were directly destroyed. In just a few breaths of time, the 36 immortal kings were actually completely annihilated. This was simply too tragic. These 36 immortal kings were all immortal kings, the core pillars of the Dongshengshan Gate. Yet, in just a few short seconds, they were all wiped out. The expression of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor turned extremely heavy. He spoke, "These people, which clan or power are they from? Why don't I know? I have no idea as well." The Emperor Qianbian laughed. However, at this moment, someone from below spoke, "Your Majesty, these people seemed to be very familiar with the Immortal Foundation experts around Qin Wentian. Those Immortal Foundation experts even accompanied Qin Wentian into the Tiandao Sacred Academy before. Dongsheng Heaven Emperor rarely paid attention to Immortal Foundation experts. However, there were people from the Dongshengshan Gate who paid attention to them. Every single word of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor rang through the entire Cloud Prefecture, allowing the people below to hear it. Hence, he spoke to the air, allowing the words of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor to enter the Cloud Prefecture. Qin Wentian. An intense killing intent flashed in the eyes of the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor. 36 immortal kings actually didn't even have a chance to flee. All of them were killed. Even for him, he felt heartache in his heart. But since they have already died, he could only turn his attention to the other 3 battlefields. For the Vermilion Bird battle formation, his subordinates were able to suppress their opponents and have already killed several immortal kings. The people who formed this battle formation were all immortal kings who were extremely proficient in fire attribute energy. Just the flames of the Vermilion Bird alone was sufficient to destroy their opponents. The immortal Qinbian Gate couldn't win this battle and suffered heavy losses. After that, they retreated. Turning his gaze over, he stared at the White Tiger battle formation. In that battlefield, the White Tiger transformed into a god of slaughter, exuding boundless might. The immortal kings who formed this battle formation were all proficient in killing. Hence, when the power of the formation was stacked together, it became extremely terrifying. However, in this battlefield, the immortal Qinbian Gate actually had quite a few extremely powerful experts. Although they were at a disadvantage, none of them were killed yet. The attacks of the White Tiger grew even more violent. All the immortal kings unleashed their attacks as killing intent engulfed the area. And at this moment, within the White Tiger battle formation, one of the immortal kings manifested a boundless sword light that slashed downwards. His killing intent permeated the entire space. Chi, chi, chi. Streams of sword might ravaged the area as fresh blood splattered everywhere. Impudent. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor coldly snorted, his expression extremely unsightly to behold. This immortal king actually killed his own people, those who formed the White Tiger battle formation, and attacked the immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate who were caught off guard. In such a tense moment, such a powerful strike was undoubtedly fatal. Instantly, 4 immortal kings were killed and many others were injured. The White Tiger battle formation was instantly thrown into a state of chaos. Before everyone could react, that immortal king directly soared into the sky with his sword. At the same time, the experts of the immortal Qinbian Gate also rushed over to assist him. Chapter 1388. Traitor, Spy. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor had an unsightly expression on his face. As an immortal emperor, even the death of an immortal king wouldn't be enough to make him frown. But now, there were so many unforeseen events that he couldn't feel at ease playing chess with the Emperor of Qinbian. The Eastern Azure Dragon battle formation was completely wiped out. The enemy's cultivation bases and battle formations were all stronger, and these people actually had a connection with Qin Wentian. This originally already made the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor extremely unhappy. And now, a traitor actually appeared within his Dongshengshan Gate. This traitor had been hiding all this while and no one had discovered it. It was only at such a crucial moment that he suddenly acted, dealing a fatal blow. The situation of the battlefield changed in an instant. The White Tiger battle formation, which originally had the upper hand, crumbled. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor's countenance turned extremely unsightly as he stared at the scene before him. Qinbian, I didn't expect you to be so despicable. The Dongsheng Heaven Emperor stared at the silhouette of the Emperor of Qinbian. Eastern Sage, you are in the wrong. This is an immortal war. Within the rules, both sides can use their own methods. If your men manage to infiltrate my immortal Qinbian Gate, would you miss out on such an opportunity? The Emperor of Qinbian emotionlessly spoke. This was a true war. Being merciful to one's enemies was akin to being cruel to oneself. Within the rules, there was no need to hide any methods. This time around, those chosen by my Dongshengshan Gate are all immortal kings who have been in our sect for many years. Even before the establishment of your Immortal Qianbian Gate, you actually sent your men in. Could it be that you have been planning to deal with my Dongshengshan Gate since a long time ago? In that case, after you were defeated, you have always been unwilling and wanted to make a comeback. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke. Naturally, in order to pursue a higher cultivation realm, I first have to wipe away all my regrets. Even if I don't have a strong desire for power, I still have to take control of the 13 prefectures. Even if I might abandon them in the future, at the very least, I have to seize them back. The Emperor of Qianbian stared at the Dongxing Heaven Emperor as he spoke. Seems like you have already forgotten the humiliation of being defeated in the past. In that case, I will let you taste the taste of defeat again. The Eastern Sage Immortal Emperor laughed loudly, exuding an intense confidence. Below, the battles of the White Tiger battle formation ended one after another. Because of the sneak attack by the traitor, the Eastern Sage Immortal sect suffered a terrifying blow. In addition, Bai Wuya seemed to have intentionally chosen some extremely powerful elite immortal kings for this battle formation, causing the situation to reverse. The Eastern Sage Immortal sect's immortal kings were all defeated and many immortal kings were killed. As for the Battle of the Black Tortoise battle formation, Dongshengshan Gate won. The experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate also lost several immortal kings. Usually, the lofty immortal kings were characters that could become lords of their own territories. Many of them had already fallen in this war. The immortal wars between emperor-ranked powers were always so cruel and merciless. If these immortal kings went to a small city, they would all be kings. If they went to a major city, they would all be considered hegemons. It was only on the battlefield that they were so insignificant, as though they were insignificant. Eastern Sage, you are so confident. However, you didn't even gain the slightest advantage in these 4 battle formations. In fact, it can be said that your Dongshengshan Gate has lost. The Emperor of Qianbian's laughter was filled with coldness. Immortal kings were the core strength of the army. The death of each immortal king was a loss, but in an immortal war, it was unavoidable. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor had a heavy expression on his face. The 4 Saints battle formation was a killing move they prepared. But 2 victories and 2 defeats. Not only that, one of the defeats was a complete annihilation. Such a battle result could only be considered a defeat. Since this is the case, let's see the true strength of both sides. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor's voice was ice cold. As the sound of his voice faded, the chess piece in his hand landed once more, directly into the heart of the Emperor of Qianbian. It was like a bugle call for war. As the sound of his voice faded, the 4 paragons in the 4 directions issued a command at the same time: Dongshengshan Gate's Immortal Foundation Army, kill them all. Annihilate all Immortal Foundation experts who block your path. Raise the entire Immortal Qianbian Gate to flat ground. As the sound of their voices faded, the atmosphere turned solemn. The Emperor of Qianbian's countenance changed as he spoke. Only immortal kings can decide the outcome of this war. Why is there a need to let the blood of Immortal Foundation experts flow on the ground? In terms of Immortal Foundation, my army has an absolute advantage. Since you wanted 6 prefectures back then and these people are willing to join you, it means that they are my enemies. Since this is the case, I naturally have to tell the cultivators of the 13 prefectures what the consequences of opposing me are. As long as fresh blood flows in the Cloud Prefecture, from now on, there will no longer be any powers other than my Eastern Sage Immortal sect who would dare to rule over any of the 13 prefectures. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor calmly spoke. The army of Immortal Foundation experts launched their attacks. Although the destructive power they could create was far inferior compared to immortal kings, it was still incomparably shocking. Just that might alone was sufficient to cause the hearts of people to tremble. For those spectators in the Cloud Prefecture city, their hearts trembled when they heard the words of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. As expected of the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. The reason he initiated this war wasn't simply to defeat the Immortal Qianbian Gate. He wanted to completely destroy the Immortal Qianbian Gate, killing all the experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate and razing it to the ground. From then on, no one would dare to contend against the Dongxing Gate. At the very least, he wanted to be the absolute hegemon of the 13 prefectures. Fight! Bai Wuya's voice was filled with killing intent. The Immortal Foundation experts of the Immortal Qianbian Gate gradually gathered into a battle formation. Instantly, a violent might gushed forth as they moved in 4 different directions. Since a battle was unavoidable, they could only accept it. The armies swiftly clashed in the airspace above the Cloud Prefecture city. Just a single attack was already filled with boundless might, causing the sky to change color. As the intense rumbling sounds rang out, more and more experts fell from the air. In such a large-scale battle, the strength of humans was insignificant. Only some powerful battle formations could display tyrannical might. An example was the battle formation formed by Qi De and the other members of the Battle Saint tribe. Everywhere they passed by, the experts of the Battle Saint tribe would be smashed apart like dried weeds and smashed rotten wood. Everywhere they passed by, the experts of the Battle Saint tribe would be killed. There were also some extremely powerful Immortal Foundation characters who had the strength to fight in all directions, sweeping through everything. For example, there was a slender figure in white. His speed was extremely fast and he wielded a long spear. Samsara energy gushed forth from his eyes, able to cause people to sink into a trance with just a single glance. After which, his long spear swept out, killing with a single strike. Piercing sounds rang out unceasingly, and in just a short instant, over 10 Immortal Foundation experts had already died in his hands. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor was still playing chess with the Emperor Qianbian. But in truth, he could clearly see the situation of the entire battlefield. Given how powerful his immortal sense was, it could cover the entire battlefield. As long as he wanted to know, no details would be able to escape his eyes. Is that the disciple of the myriad incarnations Immortal King? The Dongxing Heaven Emperor frowned, feeling somewhat unhappy. The first time he met this young man was during the grand banquet at the Dongxing Gate. Back then, this young man was the personal disciple of the beautiful myriad incarnations Immortal King. Your Majesty, this young man is named Hua Taishu. He once joined forces with Qin Wentian and the two of them have always been very close. Back in the city of ancient emperors, he even acted against our Dongxing Gate. An Immortal King replied. He pointed his finger at Hua Taishu as he coldly commanded, kill him. Myriad incarnations is here. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor turned his gaze to the immortal kings of the Immortal Qianbian Gate below. Among them, there were many immortal kings with masks on. There were quite a few with slender figures, they were all female immortal kings. At this moment, one of the immortal kings took off her mask. It was none other than the beautiful myriad incarnations Immortal King. She stared at the Dongxing Heaven Emperor, I pay my respects to your majesty. You want to oppose me? The Eastern Sage Immortal King calmly asked. Your majesty, my disciple had some conflict with your subordinates and was implicated. Even for me, I also encountered some trouble because of this. This little girl had no choice, I hope that your majesty won't blame me. The myriad incarnations Immortal King smiled. Since you have already thought things through, it's enough. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke, but his eyes flickered with killing intent. A just cause enjoys abundant support. Eastern Sage, don't be angry. Who asked the people of your Dongxing Gate to be the hegemon of the Dongxing Immortal Sect? You can't tolerate the slightest bit of disrespect from others. The Emperor Qianbian coldly spoke. Many experts rushed towards Hua Taishu. With a flick of his spear, many people were dazed for an instant. After which, sounds of explosions rang out unceasingly as the Immortal Foundation experts in the surroundings were all annihilated. Very good, your talent is truly powerful. I've learned many things from you. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor was somewhat unhappy. On the Immortal Foundation battlefield, there were actually so many powerful characters appearing. This was especially so for that group of people from the Battle Saint tribe. These people should have a connection with Qin Wentian. Why don't I see Qin Wentian? Doesn't he hate me to the core? The Dongxing Heaven Emperor calmly spoke. He glanced below, but within his immortal sense, he didn't see Qin Wentian. Those masked experts were all immortal kings. Could it be that that brat from back then had already broken through to the immortal king realm so quickly? If this was the case, he really had to get rid of that brat. Leaving him alive would only be a calamity. Qin Wentian's strength is so weak. Eastern Sage, you actually have the time to pay attention to him? The Emperor of Qinbian laughed. He didn't say where Qin Wentian was, allowing the Dongxing Heaven Emperor to guess for himself. Earlier, Qin Wentian had already fought a battle. Although he masked his features, if the Dongxing Heaven Emperor used his immortal sense to probe into Qin Wentian's body and sense his aura, he might be able to discover that Qin Wentian was none other than Qin Wentian. But as an immortal emperor, it was disdainful for him to use his immortal sense to probe an initial stage immortal king. Since he dares to insult me, I naturally have to pay attention to him. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor spoke coldly. When the two of them fought, Bai Wuya's brows were tightly furrowed. Although their immortal Qinbian gate had many outstanding Immortal Foundation experts, their disadvantage in numbers was simply too terrifying. Their Immortal Foundation experts kept falling, it was clear that the other party wanted to kill them all. In this case, they could only initiate an all-out war. Prepare for battle. Bai Wuya spoke. After that, the immortal kings all stood in their positions. They had already split into 4 camps and would head to the 4 directions to fight against the immortal kings of the other party. Can't endure it any longer. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly laughed. The 4 paragons waved their hands, preparing for an all-out war at the immortal king level. Chapter 1389. Staring at the immortal kings below, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor also launched an all-out attack. He placed his chess piece down and laughed. Qianbian, the number of immortal kings we have will definitely crush you all. How will you all fight? Have you gone senile? When has a battle between immortal kings ever been decided by numbers? The Emperor Qianbian calmly spoke. For a peak stage immortal king, even if you have 100 initial stage immortal kings, what's the use? You would still be insta-killed one by one. Cultivation base and combat prowess are the true determinants of victory. Have you forgotten the time when Bai Wuya single-handedly appeared and killed Deep Flame? Humph, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor couldn't help but snort coldly when he heard the other party mentioning Deep Flame's death. Deep Flame was also an immortal king who had followed him for many years and had many battle achievements. It was just that he didn't expect Bai Wuya to have always been hiding his strength. Bai Wuya was so strong that he could kill Deep Flame, not allowing Deep Flame to escape. After entering the Tiandao Sacred Academy, Bai Wuya actually broke through to the Immortal Emperor realm. Out of the 2 people that the Dongxing Heaven Emperor was most unhappy with towards the Immortal Qinbian Gate, the Emperor Qinbian wasn't one of them. After all, the Emperor Qinbian was merely a loser back then. Even if he lost 6 prefectures, the Dongxing Heaven Emperor would definitely take revenge. However, Bai Wuya and Qin Wentian were both juniors, causing him to be extremely unhappy. To think that you, Qianbian, are still so stubborn. The Immortal King army of my Dongxing Gate can crush you all in terms of numbers, but do you think that our combat prowess would be weaker? Just wait and see. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor coldly spoke. Below, the battles in the 4 directions had already started to clash. Immortal kings stood in the air, pulling the distance between them apart, occupying a vast space. In a battle at the Immortal King level, every single one of them needed a vast space as their battlefield. Even if they formed battle formations, they still needed to expand the space between them. The experts of the Dongshengshan Gate had a Four Saints battle formation in each of the four major directions. There was actually a total of 7 battle formations. If it wasn't for the fact that one of the battle formations had been completely annihilated, they would have 8 battle formations. Powerful immortal kings would appear in the surroundings of every Four Saints battle formation, assisting the battle formation in battle. At the same time, when an expert of the battle formation died, there would be a substitute. The reason why the 7 Saints battle formation was able to be formed was because some of the people who died earlier were substituted. Back then, his senior brother Bai Wuya and the myriad incarnations Immortal King were both guests in the Dongsheng Heaven Emperor's particle world. That was the first time he met them. Now, there was actually a chance for them to fight side by side. The other party formed 2 grand battle formations. One was the Vermilion Bird battle formation, the other was the Xuanwu battle formation. There were also many immortal kings protecting them. In the center, Paragon Golden Cauldron stood, and behind him, there seemed to be another extremely powerful character who seemed to be in the core position of the Dongshengshan Gate's immortal kings. Who is this person? Qin Wentian silently mused. The Dongshengshan Gate initiated this grand war, wanting to destroy the immortal Qianbian Gate in one fell swoop. They must have made ample preparations. Other than the 4 paragons, they must have other trump cards up their sleeves. At this moment, a supremely powerful beam of immortal light radiated from that figure. In an instant, boundless law light enveloped the entire space, enveloping all the immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate within. After that, a resplendent beam of law light directly seeped into their bodies. In an instant, the immortal kings of the Dongshengshan Gate were all shrouded in a holy light as their auras actually rose up. A supplementary technique that can strengthen one's strength. The expressions of the immortal kings of the immortal Qianbian Gate all changed. The formation of the enemy was already extremely terrifying. In addition to this technique, the strength of everyone instantly rose to another level. This was undoubtedly a fatal blow to their immortal Qianbian Gate. There's actually such a technique. Qin Wentian frowned. He knew that there were some unique law attribute techniques or innate techniques that could amplify one's combat prowess. But this person was able to amplify the strength of others and was extremely suitable for group battles. Paragon Golden Cauldron's expression was cold and tyrannical. Before this, they delayed their attack on the Dongshengshan Gate because they were waiting for a few people. The person behind him was none other than one of those people. Although he firmly believed that even if they weren't here, victory would still be theirs. But with the assistance of these people, they would be able to destroy the enemy with the lowest price. Today shall be the doomsday of the immortal Qianbian Gate. Paragon Golden Cauldron coldly spoke. But at this moment, immortal King Tuoba stepped out as law might gushed forth from him. For a moment, his law domain enveloped all the immortal kings of the immortal Qianbian Gate. This law domain shone with a resplendent holy light as a powerful suction force could be felt from it. Don't resist. Use all your law energy to cover my law domain. I will be able to borrow it. Immortal King Tuoba spoke. After that, everyone nodded and didn't resist the suction force. Instead, they frenziedly released their immortal energy, allowing it to be absorbed by Immortal King Tuoba's law domain. This energy frenziedly seeped into Immortal King Tuoba's body, causing his body to expand in size. He was like a peerless immortal king, standing at the forefront of the immortal Qianbian Gate. This Immortal King Tuoba's name was Tuoba Saint Sky. He has been cultivating in the heavenly talisman realm for many years. Because of the uniqueness of his astral souls, he grew stronger step by step in the Immortal King realm, and his law domain also grew stronger. Right now, his law domain was known as the Law Assimilation Domain, able to assimilate all law energy for his own use. It was extremely tyrannical. As for his own cultivation base, he was naturally strong enough to be able to create such a shocking law domain. Clearly, he had immersed himself in the Immortal King realm for many years and his comprehension was extremely high. His cultivation base had already reached the peak of the Immortal King realm and he was also a rare genius in the Heavenly Talisman realm. This time around, after he graduated from the Tiandao Sacred Academy, he was only a step away from the Immortal Emperor realm. As expected, both sides have their own trump cards. Qin Wentian silently mused when he sensed Tuoba Sainsky's aura rising. Regardless of the Dongshengshan Gate or the Immortal Qianbian Gate, both of them had made ample preparations and were slowly displaying their strength. Kill! Paragon Golden Cauldron spoke. As the sound of his voice faded, the Xuanwu battle formation spat out icy water, causing the entire space to freeze. The intense coldness caused everyone to tremble. At the same time, the Vermilion Bird battle formation spat out heaven-incinerating flames. Two completely different types of energy gushed forth in different directions. Tuoba Sainsky's body shone with a resplendent holy light. It was as though he possessed supreme strength. He slapped out with his finger as a wall of astral light appeared, blocking the water and fire. Boom, boom, boom. Violent auras gushed forth as the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate rushed over. Paragon Golden Cauldron received the augmentation from his energy as a gigantic golden cauldron manifested in the air. In the surroundings, millions of golden cauldrons spun rapidly as they all rushed over. With a thunderous boom, the wall of astral light shattered as the experts of the Dongshengshan Gate rushed over. Sever his connection with the others. Paragon Golden Cauldron commanded. Tuoba Sainsky punched out with both fists. His fists glowed with an indomitable golden light as he directly blasted towards the two battle formations. The law energy in the surroundings was all assimilated into the sharpness of metal. Assimilation? Is he able to convert the law energy he assimilated into the law attribute of any of his opponents? The Dongxing Heaven Emperor glanced at the battlefield as his expression turned unsightly to behold. At this moment, there were many shocking peak-stage Immortal Kings appearing. However, why would the Immortal Qianbian Gate have so many powerful peak-stage Immortal Kings? Eastern Sage, your preparations are truly ample. All four directions actually have an amplification effect. Are these people all from your Dongshengshan Gate? The Emperor Qianbian took the initiative to ask. The Dongxing Heaven Emperor froze, he didn't expect the Emperor Qianbian to snatch the words he wanted to say. He couldn't help but to speak in a cold manner, what about you guys? How many years has the history of the Immortal Qianbian Gate only existed for? Where did these peak-stage Immortal Kings come from? You're the same here. The Emperor Qianbian laughed, as though he was intentionally misleading the Dongxing Heaven Emperor. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.